I love that we get to talk about, like, people and products that can make your home better. You know, like we talk about at-home floor store, and then like we go through all of them.
Secured roofing.
Yeah. And then we get to like a new one, like Modern PI, Modern Plumbing, and it does make you feel like, it makes you feel good to have like a good company that can fix your dumb things that you break.
Yeah, they're also big,
They're
so
huge.
they can service all of Central Florida.
They were over at Maisie's camp yesterday fixing the bathrooms for her camp.
I saw Andrew's post.
By the
on
way,
Facebook.
thank you for fixing my daughter's Steve. Maisie said it smelled like terrible in there. The poor Modern PI guy had to go in there and fix the bathroom.
You've used Modern Plumbing. I just used them to install the outdoor shower
Once
in my
again, you
back
had to
patio.
big Deemy and do something fancy. Yours looks awesome,
And
man.
we didn't even know, like, this is where, like, experience makes a difference, because I was like, I don't know, you put the shower here, and they're like, we've done this before.
Step aside, sir.
Like, a lot of our clients like the copper pipe look.
It's like decorative.
And then it ages, it patinas over time, and then it looks nice in the corner. I was like, okay. And then when they did it, I was like, this does look nice.
It's freaking awesome, dude.
And they're super pro about running it, and they did it right.
You should have just told
Dude,
them.
I'm glad I didn't try to do that myself, because I'd have a leak in my roof right now. And that's the thing, like, you start messing around with your own plumbing, especially if your plumbing is run through the ceiling. Now, they do all types of plumbing. You could save 10% if you mention Tom
Small
and Dan.
jobs, massive jobs,
Yeah,
commercial
like repiping,
jobs.
yeah,
I mean,
commercial, everything.
They're kind of those guys that can do absolutely everything. I had a toilet problem we couldn't figure out, and it was in the wall. And thankfully, he didn't have to do any drywall work. He's like, oh, seen this before. I know how to fix this. And then it was cool. He's like, you wouldn't have been able to do this.
Yeah, great company.
And affordable.
Yeah.
Didn't get charged out the you-know-what. It was like very timely. The techs were great.
They offer 24/7 service in case you have an emergency, some pipe burst.
Yeah,
you need them out there.
And we talked to them. They're super cool. We had them on the couch, which is nice. You know, you sit down with the owners, you chit-chat with them a little bit, and they're very cool.
And like I said, they'll give you 10% off if you mention Tom and Dan. So when you give them a call, it's modernpi.com. Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producer's here. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
Welcome to the show, everybody. We're glad to have you here. We are streaming live on Twitch and YouTube. Twitch.tv/Tom and Dan Live, or on YouTube, if that's more your thing, because the YouTube, Tom's super popular. Just go to youtube.com/@Tom and Dan Live.
Happy birthday to Daniel today. It's your birthday.
47. Old.
Yeah.
Hold on. Am I supposed to do this? I'm supposed to do like 47. That's about what it feels like, right?
Aging is odd, because if you ask current Tom Van if Daniel was old, I would say not really. I
feel effectively middle-aged.
Any older than he was before, or even 10 years ago. Same Daniel, nothing really changed.
No. I wish.
And then
maybe give him some
What
variety.
about when you hit 50? You think that's the big one?
I don't
that
know,
you...
because you age
50's the one
too.
where
So when
I
Daniel's
turn
50,
full
I'll be
John Daly at 50.
I'll be 44 or whatever, and so then it's like, well, 50's not that old. You just keep justifying.
Now, you're justifying it because you're almost 50.
Yeah. But
that's what everybody does.
But if you
right?
ask me in my 20s,
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, blow
When it's
my
that
mind.
big of an
old.
age gap.
40s to me, and I'm not just saying this because I'm 47 today, but 40s to me, even as a kid, were never framed as old. 40s to me were middle-aged. That was because I grew up at a time when the trope, when the stereotype of over the hill, the cards, you
had to look like an old man.
Well, it was popular. Like, I remember growing up at a time when the term over the hill must have just been invented, because it was everywhere. That Lady Gladys from Hallmark Cards.
Okay,
I was born in, I'm that guy. Born in 76, that's my generation. And I remember my dad had all the cards, oh, you're over the hill, and he was like, they would laugh about it. But it wasn't necessarily old. It was like you were acknowledging middle age.
Yeah.
Old was still considered late 50s, even 60s. I think to me, old is still 60s. This was quintessential middle age.
Now, you say that, but I've seen a lot of these internet, guess how old they were things or whatever.
But they look way old.
Many video, for instance, they did one with Cheers where they
I hated
actually
that one.
showed everybody's real age.
F you, Kelsey
at
Grammer.
the time they were filming Cheers. And when you see it was like Norm or whatever, he's like 36.
Yeah.
You're just like, what?
I think it was like 32. And
Yeah, or
you're like,
young,
and you're
yeah.
like, yo, that's a rough living. Beer every day, I guess.
No, but also it's your perception of age when you were a kid and watching Cheers and looking at these guys. So when you were 9
Yeah,
or
but
7,
even the styles back then aged you.
Yes,
like people dressed
But
older than they were. Their
also-
hairstyles were older than
Also,
they were.
we are in the wrong business to even dabble with the witchcraft that is age because, or at least I am, because I never feel my age. You know, I'm always I know what's going on in the world. I know what's going on in entertainment. I know all the new shows that are out. I know all the new music that's out. So when I navigate, I'm pretty, for the most part, we are top tier. We're queued in.
We're still in touch.
Yeah, we're still in touch. So when I navigate,
Well, you say we, you are.
well, when I talk to the kids, like the bagger over at Publix, or the checkout girl who's checking, getting my groceries out. When I'm talking to them, I know I feel their age. I feel it in my heart, but I know I'm not, and I know I can feel off of them that they're like, oh yeah, look at this guy. But I feel it.
Yeah. Well, there's that Nate Bargatze joke about talking to, if you're in your 40s and you're talking to someone in their late 20s. I do this all the time.
Yeah,
where
I'm that guy.
I think I'm talking to them
As a peer?
as a peer, and I'm your age, in my mind,
I do it. I'll be like, I'm working too, right across the street, got a radio studio. I'm doing just what you're doing, young checkout girl.
Because when you're 28, I don't do that with a teen. Obviously, I understand that, and even someone in their 20s, but even Tracy, right? Who, Seth's fiance.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
She's 22. I'll talk to her as if we're in the same demographic.
See, I don't. She just looks so abnormally young to me that I can't do that.
I'll talk to someone in their 20s as if I'm the same as them, and it is embarrassing.
It is. Don't do that.
Oh, yeah. I know.
Don't talk to him at all. It's creepy, man.
Well, and then I think to myself after, I'm like,
they think I'm cool.
No.
Yeah.
I realize what I've done.
I should not have come here.
No, we're just I think they're talking to me as they're talking to someone 20 years older than they are, and then I remember myself talking to someone 20 years older than me at the time, thinking they don't know what's going on.
I was talking to most of my conversations have to do with people in retail because I'm a chirper, so I have a lot of retail conversations. But recently, I have stopped chirping. I'm also up in my head about it a little bit because I have noticed that I'll chirp, and then when the chirp bounces back, the response that I get back from people is a little "shut up, dumb old man."
No, really,
and I can feel it a little bit. And it's the first time in my
you
at
could
40
be projecting the voice of Sam on you.
Okay, I could be projecting that.
Yeah, because
you're right.
Because we have gotten a lot of emails where people are like, I like the niceties or whatever. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's probably 50-50.
I mean, they're dead inside. They're doing retail. There's whatever.
Oh yeah.
I'm just going through the motions. I don't care if they talk to me, don't talk to me, whatever. In my head, I'm away from here.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, but I think you're right on that. I would agree with what you're saying.
Anyway, yeah, we are all getting old at the same time. If you even call it getting old, we're aging at the same time. So
birthdays just aren't special anymore. And I'm not saying that. In saying that, I don't want people to be, Dan's being negative. No, I'm not being negative at all. It's just when I woke up this morning, I completely forgot it was my birthday. Not for any reason, not because I don't appreciate my birthday, not because I don't I hate it. No, it's a nothing to me.
Was it just a date?
It's just a date.
You happen to be born.
I'm excited about Maisie's birthday, which is in 3 days because she's born in the 15th.
What's she doing?
Oh, she's got it all planned out.
Is she turning 9?
8.
8.
Yeah. She's turning 8, and she wants to go to Maymock for her birthday. Not a sponsor. Wish they were. Maymock. Love Maymock. She wants to get roti and the spicy curry gravy. And then there's some sort of ramen soup she likes there with an egg in it, and she loves it. So we're going to get a big old bowl of ramen.
And then, I like that.
All
She
right,
likes
ramen birthday.
yeah.
At
My
8.
sons are
And
like,
she wants a.
we
and
want
she wants
ice
a-
cream and ball pits or whatever.
Ice cream. I'm ice cream. I'm ball pits. The law opposites of ice cream and ball pits.
I want some sensible curry, some antacid pills. I want my curry.
Maisie wants roti at spicy curry, and then she wants her ramen, and then she asks for her birthday. She asked for a desk. No, a bed. A bed.
A bed.
A new bed, just like Blindside.
Get her a new bed. That's not a birthday present. That's a
Yeah, that's a
necessity.
necessity.
She
man.
has a bed now that was handmade by Andrea's dad's dad.
Oh,
He
like
hand carved the furniture in Andrea's room. Like the dresser drawers were hand whittled.
that's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It's awesome, but Maisie doesn't want it anymore. She's like, this is old dead old man's furniture. She don't want that dead
Hold
old
on,
man.
what are you going to do with it?
I don't know.
You have to. I mean, you have to tell
I
her.
guess
like,
I give it back to Andrea's dad because it's like a family. It's
No,
like hand carved. He
you can't
he wrote his name in the back. He's like, everyone has dysentery. We're all sick on the prairie.
He wanted to give that to his granddaughter.
She doesn't
to
want
keep
it
forever. No, you can't
you
tell
know,
her.
forever.
and I did her whole room in old Florida. You know, it's like old, like orange,
Yeah.
citrus, advertisements and like Visit Florida. And she's like, I don't want any of this. She's going to rip all the old Florida off the walls, the alligator heads, all the stuff I gave her to pay, all of it. Box it all up. She wants a bright blue room. It's got to be dance themed.
Okay.
Canopy bed.
Do your kids care at all about their room?
You know, they have never mentioned
All
any
she wants
sort
to
of
do is
theme.
paint it. She wants to paint
Is there
it.
anything on their walls at all?
No, I mean,
Oh my God, Maisie's all over her walls. Everything's got trophies and
I take that back.
ribbons and.
Max's room was themed ocean.
I like ocean.
Florida.
Why are you mocking that?
It's both.
Don't mock. He's like,
I think Tommy's was a little ocean too, but
A little
they,
bit.
a little ocean,
They've
double
never-
ocean.
they've
Just
never-
give them the double ocean.
they've never asked for any sort of theme or any. Crystal wanted to do this elaborate, like she gets these
Junk canoe, Caribbean theme.
Okay, I'll tell you guys.
Oh, you're gonna get in trouble for sharing something.
No, she
This
doesn't
is
listen
like-
to any show she's not
That's
on.
She
true.
was mad when you
I've heard her
shared
say it.
that she wanted to name her daughter. Had she had one, what was it, PETA?
Yeah.
And then you shared that, and it broke her heart.
So Crystal will
I
get
thought
this.
it was like Pippa. No?
No, PETA.
Yeah, it's PETA. No.
Or no, there was another one too that I made fun of. Like I forget what it was. It
There's
was a
a
Spanish one. Lupita.
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 Well, yeah, the full name would be Lupita, and then we just call her
Lupita
Peta.
Van.
Lupita Van.
And then I don't know what same thing with
family name.
Max. His full name is Maximilian,
Yeah.
right? And we've never called him that ever in his entire life.
Right.
It's a family name.
But we went into it knowing that we were never ever going to
I
call
can
him
almost
Maximilian.
guarantee you can't spell Maximilian.
No,
I
well,
can't.
you'd be right. Of
Joke's
course I
on
can't.
you. You're right.
Why would I even figure it out? Because I'll never even know.
Don't you have to fill out paperwork for your son sometimes?
Yeah, you put Max.
Well,
and they're fine
Lupita
with
would
that.
have been
Okay.
easier. Lupita, I think you could do.
In most scenarios, they're just using your social security number. Like you don't even have to.
You've been given a number.
Yeah. What's
Okay,
really
so-
embarrassing when you can't remember the exact birth year. You're like, 14, 15.
Yeah.
I remember for
The only reason I know my daughter's birth date is because it's my password to my bank account. So just put that out there. Just put that out there.
So anyway, yeah. Crystal doing
Yeah.
these.
You're going to say
elaborate,
something you shouldn't say. Yeah.
So
You're going to overshare.
Does she have a new project?
Yeah.
The-
Wait, we had the wooden chandelier, butcher block table.
Yeah.
There's-
I just now got over the
The wooden
outdoor
chandelier.
shower. No.
Outdoor shower looks great, by the way, with the copper.
Yeah, but remember, she
Modern
wanted.
PI hit it out of the park, dude. That looks great.
Yeah, no, they did a.
Did you talk her out of what she wanted to do?
with the outdoor shower?
Yeah.
It looks
That
great.
was when I
What's
told you I
wrong
got in a
with it?
fight. It lasted 5 days of
Yeah.
silence.
That's right,
Oh,
guys.
man.
That's fantastic.
So
I wish I got 5 days of silence.
this was, but it comes with silence and then nothing else. And no, I mean, if
It's
I
bad.
even look,
It's bad. Yeah, don't look.
Anyways.
It's like Bird Box.
So she came to me one day and she had all these plans again. And then she's like, I'm going to theme Max's room American Ninja Warrior. And then I was like, all right.
Does he watch that?
He
Well, I would say the trendiness of that is a little volatile.
and then
but
then she's like, what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a climbing wall around his bed. So it starts on one side of his bed, and then he can climb over his bed using these a series of slats, these wooden slats.
Okay, I love this idea.
And then,
hey, you guess he's putting the slats in?
but also,
this idiot.
It's gonna also look like it's a pier. And
it's American Ninja Warrior Pier.
It's a wharf. It's a fisherman's wharf.
Ninja Wharf. American Ninja Warrior.
And then she's like,
it's not warrior, it's warfier.
In the corner of the room, it's going to look like a wharf, and then it's going to come out.
And it's going to have Worf from Star Trek who'll be standing there, be real the black guy, Worf.
I'm not sure
it's all Worfs. It's a Ninja Warf.
What made her come up with this idea?
I don't know what's going on.
What you thought of
I'm not joking. I was about to say caller, but I was having I just got over it. Yeah. Oh, you know.
The fact that you told the American Ninja Wharf story is you're signing your own death warrant, sir.
And then she's like, and she had all these blueprints and stuff, and the cost of the wood, and then all the grommets.
She loves an Etsy project, and she does some good ones. They did one on the side of their living room where the piano is that holds plants. It's great. Don't make fun of it. It's great. It's one of those.
Is there anything she's done that you thought was a good idea?
This one is great. If I showed you a picture of it, you go, "Oh, that looks really nice." It's
perfectly fine.
It's got you take the pieces of wood that are stained and you kind of jimmy them into the wall, and then it holds plants and pictures and stuff, and you can put them in any way you want. It looks really nice. She did a good job, but don't listen to him.
I know if it was
You're being mean.
Our house looks beautiful because of my wife. If it was up to me,
well, why are you making fun of that?
We wouldn't have redone
I'm not even going to agree with that one. That one looks good, and you're making fun of it.
Well,
did it take too long? What was the problem with that one that she made?
What, the decoration on the wall?
Yeah. It looks good. Look
how many days of silence was that one?
If you're going to start saying things that are going to make her mad, don't.
It's because it was a corner of the wall that
it was perfectly fine.
It was perfectly fine. It was just a corner of the wall. Like any corner of any wall in your house, right? And then we put a plant over there.
So you're saying it doesn't matter that much? No. You're saying that percentage-wise of how much better it looks is negotiable.
I'm just saying I spent a day and a half cutting tiny, 2x1s and then staining them.
Yeah. It shows. It looks like a lot of work.
And then we meticulously found the studs on the wall. And the reason we had to find the studs is because the shelves that that she found on Etsy, or the design or whatever, they had to be put in there, and they're heavy, and then they have to hold stuff.
Yeah.
So
they're functioning shelves.
They'll fall out. So you got to anyway. After the day and a half, when I put the tiny succulent on the side, then one picture of Max swinging off a rope swing, and then she put a statue of the plant from. Little Shop of Horrors.
Yes, it's classy. She has an Aubrey too that goes with her the Satchmo with the Louis Armstrong singing commemorative doll.
So we have 2 framed pictures of the kids and
an Audrey too.
A tiny plant that she asked me to put over there, and then also the Audrey plant of a Little Shop of Horrors. And then when I look at it, I was like, well, that was worth 2.5 days of work and fighting to do this. All of which one day we will leave this house to the new owner who buys it, and then they'll be scraping it off the walls. And it will cease to exist.
Okay.
Now, I guess you can look farther into the future and look at everything and say that. So why even live at some point? But
all right,
just a reminder.
So where are we at with the Ninja Warrior bedroom?
Oh, that
never started.
Never started.
That one.
Did you talk her out of it?
No. I just waited it out.
You waited it out.
Yeah. That one I was smart enough to be like, oh, cool.
You do a lot of waiting out.
He's the king of waiting it out.
My whole life.
Your whole life is waiting.
When I died, I was like, I did it.
Dead.
Like there will be some point, and unless unless it's fast, then I'll be like,
you have to ring a bell. Yeah. He did it.
I waited it out. Anyway, So the whole Fisherman's War for American Ninja Warrior project never happened. But there was another one she told me. I forgot.
What is your bedroom themed?
Well, I mean, mine is motorcycle. It's got like helmets, and then it's like like a scooter painting that my buddy Shanebo did on the wall, and then there's records. I have some records like mounted, and then so it's like music and scooters, I guess.
There's no particular theme, but I will tell you what's on either side of my bed.
They have a big bedroom too because you have the office area.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah,
you have a seating room. It's like Fancy Town.
They on both sides of my bed there are 2 fake windows with drapes on both sides because
Really?
Crystal saw that it's like a hack where you can make your bedroom look bigger.
I didn't
by
know those
putting
were fake.
Fake windows. It's just a mirror that looks like a window.
That's crazy. I went to the other side and I stood outside. I was trying to look in to see.
Does it, in fact, make your bedroom look bigger?
Sam, I don't know what any of this is. But I did
You got 2 fake windows.
I did have to hang
This is unfair. I feel like it's
drapes.
unfair that you don't have.
Why do you even
crystals
have
here.
drapes? No lights coming through a mirror.
You're asking the questions that I asked, Sam, while I was
Not
doing
supposed
it,
to ask those questions.
which caused another 5 days of anger.
5 days of quiet.
5 days of not getting nothing, and Crystal being mad at me because
Right.
I said,
Hey, these aren't real windows. Shut the
It's ACT.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was having fun.
No, she doesn't say that. I paint the picture of Crystal being way meaner than she is. It's all micro transactions that I'm.
Microaggressions.
Yeah. Well, then I imagine that she's. Well, first of all, I'm thinking
know the correct term.
but also I come at it like a real D-head.
Not accidental?
Macro aggression.
It's-
versus the micro aggressions.
This isn't really accidental. I have
Right,
to admit.
okay.
I have to admit because I let it stew.
So the intent is to be a D-head.
Well, while I'm standing on my
Why
dresser,
go along with it? Why not just stop it before you go along with it? Because if you hate, take for instance the fake windows.
Yeah.
If you don't like them, you have to. You can't.
I don't care. But
Then, if you don't care, then you have to fully not care. That means you can't even ask. Because if you don't care, then you wouldn't even ask the question, like, why am I doing this? Or, like, you wouldn't. You see what I'm saying?
No, it's a trap every time. It's
Okay,
way more
explain.
complicated than you think.
Okay, explain. Explain.
Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producer's here. Hey, Sam.
Hey.
So this Thursday, we've got a comedian on the couch
We do.
that he's headlining for the first time at the
This is
Improv.
really
Yeah.
cool.
I like it
Now,
because
is he a Florida boy or is he a Louisiana boy?
Louisiana all day long.
right.
All
Wanna
day
make sure.
long.
Let's
Come
get-
on
let's
now,
get into
Shreveport,
it.
Louisiana.
We got to get into it. Start talking about it. That's where the food there is just like unbelievable.
yeah,
Absolutely.
Dwayne Williams is here. How you doing, Dwayne?
Thank y'all for having me. I'm doing
Man,
good. How about
thanks
y'all?
for being
Good.
here.
See, I right off the bat, Dwayne, you have a great energy,
Yeah.
right? You're not beaten down
No.
by the local comedy scene like
Not yet.
maybe some
I'll get there.
like our buddy Ken Miller.
Leave Ken alone.
Beat him down and he's mad.
He's mad and old.
And just bullies EJ. I love it.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
anyway.
Ken bullying EJ is fantastic. I'll get my crown.
Ken
apple.
Miller. Who's that?
Yeah, exactly.
Tall
no.
guy,
Oh, no.
glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah, never heard of
We
him.
love some Ken Miller, but yeah, you do. You have like a fun, youthful, like a cool energy.
Yeah, so you're
That we don't have.
You're headlining for the first time at the Improv on Thursday, and you said you were nervous about it. And usually, all the stand-up comedians we talk to, they never say anything about being nervous. I don't know if that's a
I always get nervous.
They're lying.
when we perform.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're lying.
I agree.
is that or at least they never vocalize it to us in an interview. Like, hey, I'm nervous about this set I'm about to do. They always because you have to go in there with a certain confidence, I guess. But so I like the fact that you admit that you're nervous because
It's real.
Improv is probably the most famous stage in Orlando, right?
For
In the
comedy,
country,
yeah.
actually, like
Yeah.
comedy chain wise, club chain wise, yeah.
And so, but it's gonna. You've done your set so many times. You got to be confident it's gonna go well at this point, right?
I mean, of course, but it's the no matter how many times you do it, you're still nervous. Like I'm still nervous. So these comedians that say they aren't, I
Yeah.
think they full of crap.
Yeah, I agree. It's like people that say tattoos don't hurt. I'm like,
Yeah.
you're crazy. Like, how long have you been doing stand-up? When'd you start?
A little over 6 years. I started March 2017.
Right on.
And
So, like, you got a couple of years in, then the world shuts down,
Yes.
So how were you getting your reps? Like Tom and I are always talking about, like, getting your reps in and practicing.
Well, you're in Florida, so it helps.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
We're only actually shut down for
a couple
6
weeks.
months.
Yeah.
Well, how'd you end up from Shreveport to here?
Well, I did an internship at Disney World.
Okay.
Called the Disney College Program.
Hell yeah.
And,
I heard
did
there's some crazy parties in the Disney College program.
I plead the fifth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair
I'm
enough.
not allowed to talk about that anymore, but I heard if you've been a part of that, it's like Eyes Wide Shut with Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
Like, I heard it's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. I stayed in my room and read my Bible. I didn't do that stuff. Nah, I was chilling.
So, how does that program even work?
You have to be in college at least part-time, and you have to apply. And it's a pretty cool internship. Like, it's really dope. You know, you get to meet people from all over the world and get to work and live with these people. You get to learn about different cultures and stuff. And it's a different life from where I came from and how I grew up. So it was like an amazing experience. So, and I still have those friends to this day. Like, I still talk to them. We still keep in touch.
That's so cool.
Hang out. Some of them still live here. All over the world. It's pretty cool.
It's almost like
it's a weird bonding experience.
It
right?
is.
Because everybody's going through the same.
It reminds
craziness.
me of like exchange student almost, but it's not. It's like you're
some
going.
of them are.
Yeah, but like for you, being from North America or being from around here, maybe it's a little different. But you're still meeting and like learning and like being able to observe different cultures and what they think is cool and interesting. So I mean, it shapes you.
Yes,
right?
And not to sound corny or cliche.
Yeah,
but you'd be surprised how much we are all alike in this world.
Yeah.
The way that we think and act and how we feel and respond to things, like it's a small world. Yeah. Not to quote Disney, but it's a small world.
It's not corny at all. It's just
everybody's the same for the most part.
Yes.
Like, we pick apart each other's differences
We're all
online,
human.
and then it's like we're all doing the same stuff. Like,
it's hard, man.
Like
this stuff's hard. Everybody's out here grinding.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like if you put like people from opposite sides of whatever your political beliefs are, stuff, you strip them all nude, you put them in a room, and you have them survive.
Where are you going with this?
Well, I'm just saying, you realize, like, okay, well, everyone's a human. They want to eat, they want to sleep, they drink, they want to have sex. And there's it's like, all right, we're all just animals.
Exactly.
That we just
strip me nude and put me in the room.
All these nitpicking political beliefs, and everybody's like, oh, this guy's totally different than me. Oh, it's the same.
I used to say that. I'd walk up to ladies. I'd be like, I'd like to strip you nude and put you in a room because we're the same.
I don't think you can do that, man. You might go to jail.
We're the same. We're the same. We're all the same. Let's get nude.
All the same.
But okay, let's talk working at the parks because
you work at the parks?
Yes, I actually work.
Hell yeah.
At Universal Studios and Disney World.
Yeah, I did a little snooping. I
did too, and I didn't realize that they allowed that. Because I think before, back in the day, you could not, because they were competing.
I was
like Pepsi and Coke.
Chevy Ford. It's like NASCAR. It's like you can't.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, before it used to be pretty strict.
Well, you're a young guy. Like, I think for an old timer like me, I turned 47 yesterday, so I think if I were working at the parks, I would have been one of those guys where that's like, hey, it's a new thing. Like, it would have been like, you're either a Universal guy or you're a Walt Disney World Parks guy.
But that's stupid.
Yeah, I agree.
They changed it.
You should be able to do all of them.
Well, now,
because,
like they've relaxed a lot of their rules too. Like you can show your tattoos now. You can have facial hair now. Like that was all.
I hated that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
No facial hair. Like I hated that.
But you do the safari, right?
Yes, at Disney World I drive the safari truck at Animal Kingdom.
I've probably been on your safari ride before.
One of us has. Yeah. Because I've taken my daughter on that.
for 10 years, so the odds are I have been on his safari.
It is. I deny anybody to ever say a bad word. I love that ride. I just love that ride. I think it's great.
So yes, it's a pretty cool job to do. I would hope that you haven't been on my safari simply because if you have and you don't remember me, that hurts my feelings.
I like that.
Right.
That's the bar so hot. I like that.
So let's talk about that because I imagine as a stand-up, like any opportunity to get in front of any crowd, no matter.
And they make jokes like,
but it's all part of it.
But it's also even if you stick to the script and you're allowed to make a little joke here and there.
Well,
obviously, it's within Disney.
You have to control the group.
But just learning to the give and take of the energy of the crowd and the reps of doing that crowd after crowd because those is kind of like a mini boot camp for stand-up, because even though you're not doing your material per se, but you're just getting those micro reps in front of an audience. Is that true?
It's somewhat true. You know, you're on the microphone, you got a truck full of people, and you have a spiel where you learn about the animal facts. And you say whatever animal facts based off of what you see. So we are not encouraged to tell jokes, but, you know, every now and then if something happens, I know for me, if something happens out there, I don't even think about it. I just say something.
Right.
And most of the time the people laugh and they think I'm, you know, maybe somebody think I'm doing it on purpose. No, that's a real reaction out of me. Like like if an elephant's taking a dump, and I'm like, man, he's dropping it off over there, ain't it? And I'm like, I'm not saying it to get a laugh. I'm being serious. Like, just an intrusive thought.
You're commenting on it. I can imagine Disney not letting you go too far. Like,
please do not comment on the elephant dump.
Like, that rhino reminds me of Trump. Let me tell you.
You can't do that. You can't do that.
No, rhino, Republican in name only. Everybody knows what that means.
Now, we had a BDM meetup at Animal Kingdom once, and notoriously, we were talked to at the end of the ride and got kicked off because somebody was singing at the top of their lungs Lion King songs.
Yeah.
It was not good. It was not good.
Wait, could you repeat that? I'm sorry. I want to make sure.
We had a Jeep full of our listeners, right? And we had a meetup at Animal Kingdom, and they had been imbibing in some alcoholic drinks, and they started scream singing "Circle of Life." And we got a talking to by the mouse. And we had one specific woman who said, "Do you know who my uncle is? He works here. He's the manager." And so, and we're like, "Shut the hell up!"
Boy, that
Scrooge.
That was the last Disney meetup we ever did.
That liquor, boy.
I like how your uncle being the manager.
And then she got off the Jeep and started smoking a cigarette, not even in a smoking section. Classy.
Also, she's
no longer a listener.
An odd thing to get mad at
moved on.
If you're Disney, because they are singing a song that you created.
Yeah, but you're disturbing me.
Yeah, you're being obnoxious and being loud for nothing.
But it's not like...
But you do have to handle that, so that's part of your job.
Oh, yes. You have those guests who don't know when to shut up, don't know when to sit down. Like, hey, could you please sit down for your safety? They just steady stand up.
Because you're in charge. I mean, bottom line is, right? I mean, you're the guy that's...
Or they're making corny jokes.
Right.
Trying to take over the
Well,
show.
that's like heckling.
Let's talk about that, because you had a lady try to climb on the stage drunk one time, correct?
She didn't try. She succeeded.
she got up there.
She got up there. Yes.
Oh, no.
And that was so weird because the stage was like 4.5 feet off the ground. So she had to stand on her stool.
God, that's as tall as
and then climb on the stage like that. And she almost did it twice if the door guys didn't catch her and brought her down. And then the headliner got up there. She tried to do it again, and she flipped him off, and then she got kicked out.
Oh, Lord.
Now, if someone's doing, like, there's all these videos of, like, fans getting on the stage and, like, some sort of performer kicking them off with their feet.
Well, yeah, like in rock
punching
shows.
them in the face.
I feel like in rock shows, that was a rock show thing. Right? You get on stage, and then you got Axl Rose. And then, he boots you off the stage.
But aggressively.
Because you're not supposed to be up there.
And then people would I give the musicians flack for it. They're like, "Oh, you didn't have to be that violent."
Or a girl came up behind Afro Man. He's like
Afro Man.
punches her in the
a
face.
rapper named Kevin Gates. It happened to him. Some lady grabbed him and he kicked her.
And then like in the comedy world, someone tried to rush the stage with Dave Chappelle, and then the security, they broke him up good. It was bent his arm in half, and they gave him a beating behind the stage. But like, and people are like, "Oh, you didn't have to be that violent." But I would say, I don't know what this person's like. Once you get on the stage and start coming towards,
it's fair game.
You got to knock him out.
Like
it's got to be incapacitated, right? Like I feel like
this person could have a knife. He could harm you, and now it doesn't help when the person's obviously drunk and opening their hands up for a hug, and then you knock them out.
Still not. If you stay in the seat. Actually, this has happened twice to me.
Really? Why so much?
I don't know. It happened that night.
And you're a tall guy too. Like
I did like the second video that was posted was her talking to you. I'm assuming after the show.
Yes.
And her friend was like, "Don't take a video of my wasted friend."
No, we're gonna get this on tape. tape.
Yeah. She's at her
She kinda
worst.
deserves
Tell
it.
video.
Why do you think people do that?
I don't know.
Are you too nice?
No.
Yeah, because you do come off
You're
like
nice.
a super nice guy.
But you're
excuse.
also tall, so I would imagine. Like, I'm trying to weigh this out because, like,
Yeah, but your demeanor is so nice. I
you're
feel
nice.
like you're not going to punch me in the face.
No.
No, I wouldn't do that, especially because it's a woman. Now,
hurt
if it was a
somebody.
man,
You'd
I
hurt
would think
somebody.
twice about it. But her excuse was that she thought I was handsome and funny.
Okay. Well,
wow.
think
You know
that?
what?
You could have told me
Hold
that
on.
after the show.
Hold
Like,
on. I will say, if you're going to tell me what
oh,
you
she
did,
was horny, bro.
that is the correct answer. It's wrong. All of it
Yeah.
sucks, and you shouldn't have done it.
No.
But that is the correct answer.
I mean, my self-esteem did rise like 2 points, but still, ladies,
Yeah.
stay in your seat.
Yeah,
Like, thanks
control
for
yourself. yourself.
Yeah,
You had to
don't
rush the stage.
Don't ruin the show.
But what's your plan once you climb up there? They have no plan.
She's gonna
right?
make
No
love to
plan.
him. She's gonna make love
Blacked
to him.
out drunk.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay,
she
yeah.
said she wanted to tell a joke too.
Oh.
So she tried to grab the mic, and for whatever
Oh my
reason,
God,
I said,
you
"You
guys
know
could
what?"
Be a comedy couple.
I said, "Go ahead and tell your joke." And she just said, "I think you're handsome and you're cute." And I was telling a story about how my ex-girlfriend scratched my car up, and she said, "You didn't deserve that, but you're so handsome, you're so funny." I said, "Thank you, lady. Now sit down, please, before you get put out of here." Like,
You have to go home. Yeah.
Were people booing her?
Yeah.
Because what I have found is the rest of the crowd is not a big
They
fan
get
of
mad.
hecklers,
No.
or people
They're not.
that disturb the show and ruin it for everybody. And then it's just
Yeah.
one person. And I feel like if the rest of the crowd, if there was a vote, and you're like, should we openly beat this person? on stage?
Yeah.
I feel like the most of the crowd
Everybody's
would
gonna, like,
agree.
beat her. You have to beat her up.
Would be happy about
But
it.
I didn't want the show ruined, so I tried to keep it light. You know, I tried
Right.
to. I
'Cause you're
made
a pro.
Yeah, I tried to make a couple
Yeah.
of jokes about the situation, about her, and she got down. But the second time that she tried to get up, like, "Hey, lady, like, chill." I had to. I roasted her. Then I didn't care.
Yeah.
You grew up in Louisiana. Where in Louisiana?
Shreveport, Louisiana.
Okay.
318. I'm North Louisiana.
All right. How was that compared to Orlando?
Oh man, day and night.
What's it like? What's it like in Shreveport?
Man, look, I love my city. I love where I'm from.
Yeah.
You know,
Is it anything like, because like all we know, at least all I know, I mean, I'm ignorant to it. I've only been in New Orleans once, just passing through, got a little bit of fun, nothing crazy, never really partied. And then I went to Baton Rouge one time, and that was
Okay.
cool. Stayed with some people there for a couple of days, but that was more of like just being it seemed like being in a Florida neighborhood.
Well, those are the three biggest cities in Louisiana. You have New Orleans, you have Baton Rouge, and then you have Shreveport.
Yeah.
And
Is Shreveport coastal?
what you mean? Like no, like we're close to the Texas border.
Okay.
And then Arkansas border.
Okay, gotcha.
So historical city, a lot of history in Shreveport. A lot of casinos. We have like a gambling city.
They still make
that's
you build a
crazy.
casino on some sort of
river.
body of water.
Yeah, we call it the boat
floats. Yeah,
because it's actually on a boat, and those boats are stationary, but they can move if necessary. Like if the river rises or
Hurricane or
something like that. Yeah, we can.
I've been
cool.
I've been to those casinos, and I am frustrated by the fact that we live in a society
Yeah,
that
he's got a gambling addiction.
No, but
so-
just like,
He does?
You,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
not an
He
addiction.
does.
What you like to play?
No,
Everything.
no,
What doesn't
I
he
don't
like?
I'm a
play-
blackjack man. I love blackjack.
Oh,
Yeah.
I want to learn
Now
how to
we're
count
talking.
cards. It's the only way to win. That's the only thing.
I'm not going to incriminate myself, but yeah, I'm a blackjack man. I don't do slot machines because I know that's rigged. Like,
Yeah,
Well,
we just talked about that yesterday.
yeah, that's rigged.
Well, the thing is,
That's just money for the house.
the odds are in the house. I like to try to make positive EV bets. So I'm a sports gambling guy.
Okay.
Now, all casino games, you're going to lose eventually, but you can have fun. It's like, I'm not
Welcome
gonna,
back to Chucky and the Greek
To be
on
honest,
Real Radio.
I've won more times than I've lost.
Now, you probably play like by the book blackjack and
Actually, no.
No.
I have this in mind. First and foremost, you have to keep this in mind. You can't beat the casino. You will not be able to break them. Okay, so
You can count cards and break them. I'm just saying, like, there is
Yeah, but
that
that's-
way.
but that's-
yeah,
You got to conceal it. It's harder. It's a
Yeah, that's a balance.
It matters how many decks there are. There's a lot of
So let's say you go to the blackjack table and the minimum bet is $10 because we used to have those there. If I go in with $40, I say if I lose this 40, that's it. You
Yeah.
gotta set a limit for yourself.
Yeah. Put a boundary.
Put a boundary on.
Yeah.
I'll put 10 down. Let's say I win $40
Yeah.
off that first 10. So that means I have 40 plus the 10 I started with. I'll stop.
Okay.
I would legit stop. I used to go with my friends a lot. One of my best friends, D'Angelo. I would sit there and watch him. I won $50, and I would sit there and watch him gamble for like 5 hours.
Singer D'Angelo?
No, man.
What's the V?
He doesn't have the V anymore.
No.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's more like a cue now. His body's off.
Yeah.
He fell off.
Yeah.
He still does the dance.
Yeah, he left that V in the 90s.
But I would watch him gamble for like 4 or 5 hours straight. Watch him lose, win, and I would just hold on to that 50 that I won.
Yeah. Well, that's the way. I mean,
That is
if
the way to
you
do
win, stop playing, because the longer you play...
See you again. See you next time.
It's a mathematical impossibility that you win over time, because the game, the odds are in the house's favor. Except if you play by the exact rules, then you got a 50-50 basically still in the house favor a little bit. But then that's when you start card counting a little bit. I'm not saying I'm not advocating cheating, but if you learn how to do that,
You're advocating cheating right now. That's exactly what you're doing.
It's a studio, it's giant casinos. What do I care if you steal their money?
whatever.
I mean, and they'll eventually catch you no matter what. There's a whole Netflix documentary about a guy that traveled the country hitting every casino, and it's a grind to even try to do that.
Miserable.
And
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that.
eventually they kick you out. Like they see, all right, this guy's winning. He's cheating.
When you think about it, it took me a while. I think you and I were talking about it one day, and I got home, and I was thinking about that because I was like, oh, I'll watch the documentary. And then I was like, wait a minute. If this guy succeeds, he loses.
Well,
Because
they just
if
stop
he-
letting
right,
him gamble.
If he gets to be the best at it, he can't do it anymore.
They'll kick him out.
That's torture, right? Like
Yeah.
to be the best at it, but they're like, sorry, you can't, you can never do this again.
But that's winning to me. If I ever get to a place where some sort of sports book stops letting me gamble there,
Right.
I won.
Right.
You see what I mean?
I see what you're saying. I see the logic.
Yeah.
I see the logic.
Now I'd be frustrated because I just got to the point where I could win over time. You know, like I could pick out. But
It's like going up to a guy at an amateur fight and saying, I'm sorry, you can't fight these guys.
Yeah, you beating them up too much.
You are now a professional. Your hands, you can't do it. man.
I'm taking too early lines. I'm taking advantage teasers. I'm doing correlated parlay. Like they see my betting history. They're like, no, this guy, limit him.
Get him out of here.
And they're
Yeah.
limiting me to $10 bets, and then that's when you win.
Which
Okay.
lets you
I
know
get
how
it.
jacked up it is, because if you're mad that somebody won a couple of thousands of dollars,
Yeah.
if that, and you are a multi-million dollar, come on, man, like don't do that.
But they don't need, because they want the people that think luck is on their rubbing some sort of rabbit's foot.
You got a pet rock in your
or
pocket.
staying at the same slot machine for 8 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I
warming it up. You
I
can't
had
warm
a
a slot
lady
machine.
go. I forgot. I don't even think I told the story. I had a lady go off on me on the last cruise that we did before the world shut down.
Yeah.
Because I just wandering through. I love slot machines, but I also know what they are. I make no I don't ever say I'm good at it, or hey, look, I crushed it. You know, I like the ones that you can put some money in and play the dumb game for a very long time.
Just hit the button. Bet all.
Yeah, and if I could just sit there for a long time, connecting Elvis's blue suede shoes while it plays his music or whatever. Yeah, I'm into it, right?
And you get the bonus
But
game.
if you take an old lady slot machine and she got up to get something, and that was
Well,
the
you
one
can't do that. So you were wrong.
No, I was.
Yeah, okay,
you're
you knew
right.
that.
Yeah. I mean, like, she was correct in giving me the heat. I shouldn't have taken it.
You know, I think they have Blackjack open now at Hard Rock.
They do.
Yeah.
I played a few times.
I feel like, okay, you can
This will be your comedy gambling buddy, Tom.
You can become a
You guys can
dealer
go over there and hit the blackjacks.
Well, I was thinking about this. As long as you're not too greedy, I feel like you can have someone get a dealer job there, right? And then you could slowly just siphon money over years.
Oh, my God.
Just by
Maybe Dwayne's our guy.
You can't be too greedy, but once every 2 weeks, a couple of friends come in, and then you have some signals where they just what your bottom card is.
Dwayne Williams is not responsible
That's what signal.
for what's being said right now.
It's just something. Now it's hard if you just take little increments of money over time.
Yeah.
Like you could just siphon off probably $20,000 a year. You know what I'm saying?
I think
Like
we- I
over
think we
time.
can
Hey, Tom, you know the police are outside, right? They waiting on you.
We just talked to a cop, actually.
Yeah, we did just talk to a cop.
It would be hard for the casino because to catch that small amount.
Right.
It's really when they come in with teams and all of a sudden they notice patterns and they're like, oh, wait a minute, this person lost way too much. Like, because again, it's just a mathematical equation. They know
Sure.
it. So that all of a sudden some dealer loses more than they should. They're going to start investigating them more. But I feel like you
And then
could
they'll be
pawn
like, I off that guy again.
No, man, because my aunt's a dealer.
Huh?
My aunt's a dealer.
Okay.
And she was doing blackjack, and I was at her table. She didn't have no mercy on me. She took my money.
No, yeah, well, she doesn't want to lose her
lost.
job. I'm saying you go into it.
Well,
Like,
she's an honest human.
Like, let's
We're
say-
talking about us.
Dwayne, let's say the comedy thing
I'll
doesn't
vouch
pan-
for her. She sounds like a
Dwayne,
wonderful lady. I'm talking about us right
Here's
now.
how we do it. You get a job. Let's say you're like, screw this comedy thing. I'm going to
We
start.
can still do the comedy. He doesn't have to get rid of comedy just
I ain't
because
got to
he's
stop
going to
this.
join our crew.
You're right. Okay,
Look,
so
just because you're joining our crew, that's what
I
I'm
like how
calling
he's
it now.
trying to get him to quit comedy to help him steal money
To go
from
to
our
jail.
casino.
It's our crew. We're calling it a crew now.
He doesn't want to be a part of the crew.
It's called the crew. You're part of the crew, too.
I'm out of the crew.
You're in the crew.
Yeah,
Oh, my God, you're the mastermind. What are you
No.
talking about?
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
the connect the dots lady.
No, you get
You're
in there.
very important.
And then
they call you mainframe.
and I'll wear disguises, and it's all about the disguises. This is where
you gonna
You really thought about this,
Are you
haven't
gonna
you?
bring your beard
dressing
back?
up.
Bring your beard back.
I'll have the fake beard, and then
my
I'll,
God.
one time I'll be like a
Yeah.
chic.
And I catch him in the bathroom. I'm like, dude, come on, you can't go brown.
What you got in that
You
cup,
gotta-
man? You are really.
Well, when I
You
care
can't go
about
brown.
getting
You gotta go
canceled,
white cheek. You gotta go white cheek.
He really thought about this.
Yeah. And then
He's got the spirit gum and the hair on there.
And so you like really it's the high rollers. Like you start
Give me
impersonating
your
big
chic accent.
whales.
Show me your chic accent. Because you're not going to be able to do.
I have a handle.
comes back
I
to the
pretend
whale.
like I don't speak English. I have another. Like I'll get Gannon.
Sir,
I'll get Matt. He'll be my talker. I need a talker.
Yeah,
And I'll just be in the
okay, you have to-
the chic
Gannon's too
outfit.
sweet. I don't think he
You have
could
to
pull
ante
this
up.
off.
You have to ante up, sir. Give me your chic. Give me the chic.
No. I pretend like I don't know English. So okay, you be the manager.
no.
You'll be in jail by the end of summer. Like, it's over.
Oh, yeah, I'm like, hello, welcome to the casino. We're glad to have you. Oh, you must be the chic. Oh, that's Shaquille O'Neal. It sounds like Shaquille O'Neal.
That's
I
me
think the Sheik
whispering.
like
just said-
Shaq, yeah.
The
My
Sheik just
handler.
said boom shakalaka.
And then the handler does all the talking. I just sit down.
Who's your handler?
I pretend to have a big bankroll. And then the key is to make ridiculous bets at first. It throws them off. They're like,
This
this guy
Sheik
doesn't know
is
what he's
crazy.
doing. But then, Dwayne, you're giving me the signal.
What's
and
the
then,
signal?
and then
What's the signal?
And then all of a sudden, I make some. The betting patterns is how they catch you. And then you make
What's
some.
the signal? What's Dwayne's signal to the Sheik?
Just some small.
This is the signal right here. Handcuffs.
Okay.
No,
You go to jail like this?
No.
And then you go.
Get him.
He just scratches his
And
nose.
you give a little. Okay, so the Sheik sees you scratch your nose, and then what do you do?
What if he has an actual itch, though?
No,
Like right now,
No. You're disciplined. Sam, we practice this.
Oh, okay.
We're in some sort of warehouse practicing before we do our
Practice
grand.
in a warehouse?
No, I've seen how in the
My
movie.
God.
Yeah, this is.
We have to practice in the
This
warehouse.
took a crazy turn.
Is it a dress rehearsal? Are you dressed like the Sheik at the warehouse?
But everybody at the table has to be a different character. Sam's in
What am
there.
I?
Sam's the.
Sam's got him pushed up.
She's
got him pushed up big.
You have
She's
to have
got him pushed up.
Yeah. She's got him-
Sam is a law-abiding citizen.
Yes, she is.
And she's actually playing poorly because you want the Sheik to win the big
likes
money.
your breasts.
Sam's playing poorly, but then she'll get some money. She'll.
What am I faking an accent too, or no?
Well, you're like more like the
You're
Dolly
Natasha.
Parton.
You're
Dolly Parton.
You're from Tennessee. The whole,
Do I have to wear a
character.
razzle dress?
Yeah, I mean, you're over the top. You're there to distract
Who am I?
everybody.
Who
The
am
pit
I?
boss
Okay.
gets distracted. You are an unfortunate M-word in a wheelchair.
Oh, they put you in a wheelchair?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Here's some
It might
advice
be
for
better
you.
for your back.
Here's some advice. Number one rule in criminal activity.
Yeah.
Don't talk about criminal activity, especially on the radio.
No, okay.
Oh my God, we're on the radio right now.
But that's where you throw them off. There's no way he's talking about it and then actually
You just gave them the
doing it.
blueprint. You just went on a 7-minute rant.
He's like, there's no way the Sheik will ever. He doesn't know Dolly Parton.
It's if I did it, this is how I did it. It's the old O.J. Simpson.
If you're egregious about it, you're telling everybody. Like
You got to fly it right in their face.
Yeah, Epstein was like, I got this whole pedophile.
Yeah.
He was
like,
screaming
look,
about it.
Don't worry about it. Next time
get your kids.
No one believed him.
Next time you at the Hard Rock, state troopers will be waiting for you. You won't even make it in the building.
The local authorities don't even care about getting because they're like,
They're on
screw
the
this
tank.
company.
yeah, you gotta give them a kickback, and then they're
Exactly. Give him $50.
Yeah. But and there's no more mafia, so they don't break your hands anymore. They just kick you out, and what's the
They
don't
like that.
They just trespass you.
And that's coming from the Sheik.
It's not like the 1950s Vegas where they rough you
Next
up in
thing
the
you know,
basement.
you're digging your own grave in the desert.
yeah.
That's the worst, too, when they make you dig your own grave. It's hot. And you're digging, and
I wouldn't do it.
vultures flying over.
Yeah, just kill me.
I'm not doing it. I'm going to let you dig the grave.
Yeah, I'm going to sit down, and then the person's like, I'll kill you. I'm like, well, what do I care? I'll be dead. Shoot me. Then you have no one to dig my grave.
Yeah. Then you'll be throwing your tie behind you. You're digging the grave, sweaty and mad at my corpse. Anyway.
So in conclusion,
Thursday.
Yeah, a lot of casinos in my city, but there's a lot of talent. My city's beautiful. I love my city, Shreveport, Louisiana.
Well, thanks, Dwayne.
Thanks for coming in, man. We appreciate you taking the time to talk to us, and good luck with the show on Thursday.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Sorry we're so crazy. I apologize.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
I do feel like lately we have to apologize to everybody that comes in.
No, it's all good.
We get like psycho. I
Sorry,
don't know what
sorry.
happens. Something takes over, and then we become Chic and Dolly Parton.
This Thursday, theimprovorlando.com. Get your tickets. Dwayne Williams.
That's the worst one ever.
He was doing his he doesn't know English thing. It's fine. He was the Chic right there. That was the Chic.
Dwayne Williams.
There you go.
Thursday at the Improv. Get your tickets. It's his first time headlining. Support a local comedian.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate it, man.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all for having me.
We'll be right back.
Be right back.
Welcome to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producer's here. Hello, Sam.
Hey.
All right.
This is not a welcome to.
No, it's not.
It's coming back.
Were you
Sorry.
nervous?
Do it
What are you
anyway.
nervous? You're nervous. There's black guys in here.
No, I just lost. Why would you say that? Why would you say that?
Oh, my God.
Well, you all start effing around. And then
We were
you
screwing
can't take
around.
anything serious.
We were screwing
You guys
around.
cracked open those toll road beers. That was what it was.
Joe Neal and Vince Taylor are in studio with us to talk about the karaoke and comedy cruise going on this Saturday.
on the Indian River Queen.
Yes. So first, tell me how this started, because when I saw
wild.
this, I was like, I've never seen someone put together like a karaoke comedy cruise. Dinners involved.
It's unique. Yeah, it's creative.
You get a boat ride, but on a historic riverboat. So I
didn't even know we had riverboat.
Yeah.
Well, I'm known for doing like different type of events, right? I do the comedy at the movie theater, I do the comedy at the boats and all that stuff. So this one came about because what I do other than comedy, I'm a taxi driver as well. I have a taxi business. And one of my clients' friends owned that boat. And so when I went to drop them off at their house and me and the owner of the boat started talking, I was like, you ever thought about doing comedy on the Queen? And she was like, no. And next thing you know, we started talking and
So where does she even have
How do you own a paddle
what is-
boat?
where does
That's
she even
why,
get?
and also being a taxi
old
driver, you
riverboat?
got to get like that's like material for days,
For
right?
days,
Like,
for
aren't you
days.
just like constantly flagging stories and logging interesting humans and voices and characters and the way that they dress and their houses and
I do, but I mainly work the airport. I don't do the streets, so I don't deal with all the crazy. I deal with
Okay.
people coming
Not
on vacation.
crazy, but rich people are crazy. You must be dealing with rich people.
I'm dealing with rich people all day.
Well, how is it? Okay,
rich people are the craziest people.
To
I
own a
think.
queen, you got to be rich.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
This lady's got to be a nut
Yeah, oh,
job,
yeah.
like in a good way, respectfully. How do you own a paddle boat?
Yeah, well, and I'll plug it real quick. You can get your tickets at tomanddan.com, and right now we're offering a discount.
Yes, sir.
Through our link at tomanddan.com, you can get a discounted ticket.
For Father's Day.
Yeah, for Father's Day with the code Father's Day. So when you check
Cool.
out, put the code Father's Day. That comes with the dinner,
Yep.
the show, the comedy
Yeah,
show.
you do like karaoke on the top, and then they switch. Like
Then we
halfway
switch,
through.
yeah. That's how we do it.
You drop down to the bottom, and you get the comedy. So
Yes,
you get to
sir.
do a little bit of everything.
Yeah, a great gift, especially for Father's Day. So back to being or owning a taxi company. So what is?
That sounds hard.
Okay, how did Uber? Because how long have you owned
Oh,
the taxi?
not supposed to say that. He's gonna walk out of here.
Listen,
it's an obvious.
No, it's cool, but I'm not here to talk about my taxi business. I'm here to talk about my comedy show.
I know.
The comedy on the Queen is what I'm here to talk about.
All right,
And
let's
for
go back to
Father's
the
Day.
riverboat.
Okay, yeah, but no, on
Does the paddle work or take engines underneath?
no. Listen, you gotta come. I'm gonna do a Tom and Dan. I'm gonna have you guys on the boat.
All right.
Soon, watch. As soon as you guys
Sam,
get together.
Sam
do
don't
that.
like boats.
Can
But,
we gamble? We just need to get offshore.
No.
I don't like boats that Tom drives.
And by the way, we don't even have to go that far. There's no one policing it. As long as you go, 200 feet.
I want to do like the Vikings. Let's do like the Vikings at that time. Did they go out on the boat with the hookers?
Boat cops aren't even out at night, so they're not going to come aboard and start harassing you. You can just go a little bit offshore.
Was that the Vikings that went out and they had all the hookers in the boat?
That's a whole. Once you get out to international waters, anything goes.
That's what I want to do. Well, the NFL hooker boat.
Well, the taxis, you think hookers?
Exactly. Yeah. Well, the Queen has been around for 25 years over there at the Indian River. It's nothing new. They've been doing. They just do like weddings and different events. But the comedy and karaoke is something new. So.
Now, and then what if you saw that the thing on the news about that kid that jumped off the cruise ship?
Yeah.
Idiot.
Oh my God.
So what if someone jumps off?
That is on them.
That's why I'm on the ticket to see what happens. I will willingly jump off.
And the reason why I want to bring my man Vince on, I know Vince since I've been out here almost 20 years, and he's phenomenal. He started like comedy and karaoke. At certain venues and all that stuff.
So nice, Joe Neal.
No, I'm just saying. That's where I have to go to your comedy and karaoke.
I'm just doing this so he'll sign my community service papers at the end of this whole thing.
So when who do you get to host the karaoke?
I have somebody doing that.
Bro, come on, you got to give me the karaoke. You got to let me host that.
Now you know who's going to host. So it's great if we do it like that because the comedians I have Mike Hurley, I have Melanie, and I have Vince and myself. So while the karaoke is going on one level, the dinner and comedy show will be going on downstairs. So I can bring one comic up downstairs, let Vince host the thing upstairs. It's gonna be a unique type of experience.
Joe Neal, you're headlining, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I just want
to No. I'm hosting.
Oh, you're hosting.
Yes,
okay.
I'm hosting.
Okay.
So, but each comic would do about 25, 30 minutes. So I'll be going up and down.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I do headline.
Hustling. I love that.
So, how do you look so young? I don't know.
Okay, we're talking about that.
First of all, that was subjective as hell. I'm not feeling that same way. You look old as hell. This is my uncle right here. He look like Kingpin from Spider-Man 1. Anybody trying to say all that, bro? Plus, we know about all them, whatever it is what kind of blood it is that you drinking in your basement, bro. You do some sacrificial thing.
No, sir.
This woman keep crystals in the moonlight.
Crystals.
No, sir.
It's genetics, right?
No, let me tell you.
You haven't done any creams or any sort of light therapy.
Awesome, though.
Listen,
it's amazing.
Let me tell you this. I don't work out as much as I should be working out, but I don't eat pork. I don't eat beef. I don't drink. I don't smoke. So all that's a part of aging,
God, the only things I want to do.
So
Fountain of youth is no fun.
I'm just saying.
Steaks and beer.
And I have just as much fun as anybody else who do those things.
God, that's my wife. My wife's like that. My wife doesn't drink, never done a drug in her life. She's like, I had a great run today.
And she looked 25 years old, right? You see that? And you look 47, right?
47. Man, I look 60. I am 47. I look 60.
But his butt looked 21.
Oh, my butt looks like a bulldog. Straight bulldog cheeks.
The lipo.
Long. I got a long ass.
Have you talked to the captain of the Queen?
Yes.
And does he have to give some security briefing at the beginning?
Do you have to do a mustard drill?
They do. They do their little spiel, for safety and all that stuff because that's most important. Safety is important.
But the damn thing is going to be fine. If you're going in the Indian River, there's barely any waves. It's fine.
You never know. You never know.
Hey, the fact.
What's the most dangerous thing at sea? What's the most dangerous thing at sea?
Water?
No.
Fire.
Fire. Thank you.
That's stupid.
Ain't no
Fire.
There's water all around you.
All right. Well, me and Sam will die. We know who will die now.
You can.
We'll be good.
Fire.
How you get fire out now, bro? I do.
Fire is the most dangerous dangerous thing at sea.
Why? How?
Why would water
That's
be
what
the
I said,
most
Jody.
dangerous thing at sea? You're in a boat.
Yeah, you watch too much Vikings, man. Yeah.
No, I'm just going on what the captain said.
Oh. Well, if the
Brandon.
boat catch fire, jump your ass.
Nah, I ain't never about ate by no fire shark though. I don't know.
No, there's no sharks in the
Ain't no
Indian
shark in
River.
the Indian River. So.
But if there is, too dark to see it.
Hey, I'm ready. I'm ready.
It's the infamous shopping cart shark.
How long is the whole cruise itself?
Well, we'll go out on the water for about 3 hours.
Okay.
Oh my God.
3.5 hours. But then we just, when we come back, we can party and drink. The boat's a
after
cash
party.
bar.
Hey,
And
there
you,
you
can,
go.
you know, until like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, to wherever.
Hey,
Awesome.
whoa.
No, you could get off
Can
the
you
boat
pull
at
up
any
at
time.
people's-
You can get off the boat anytime we come back. But I'm saying we're going out for the show. We're not doing a show on the, you know.
Yeah, you
we're
do
not
a
sure
show
we're
when
gonna
you're
go
out.
out.
Yeah.
Right. And then we come back. And, you know, whoever want to get off the boat, get off the boat. Whoever want
love
to stay partying,
I'm gonna
jam,
stay on the
yeah.
boat.
Is this something you're going to do again? Like, obviously,
yes.
keep doing it. Because,
Yes.
because you know it's interesting because there's like a the river ship romance in Sanford, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've been taking my boat out on the river for decades.
You got a boat?
His boat.
Yeah. Well, I got.
You know what you should do? You should have a comedy show.
On your own boat.
It's a tiny mildew boat. Yeah, we're talking about this thing's a tiny mildew boat. But anyway, you see, like, I always thought like they should do more events because they used to do like a dinner, and then it's like, well, don't do a show on there. Like, why not?
All I've ever seen is gambling. I've never seen comedy or karaoke. That's a great idea.
Well,
I think y'all got something.
Thank you.
The gambling, like they've been doing like casino cruises, but then
And
you
those
gotta
are
go
sad.
offshore.
I mean, they can be sad. I mean,
Yeah.
they don't
I've
have to
done
be
those.
sad.
Lose
but-
all your damn money.
Yeah, I mean, but like going out there, having a couple drinks, seeing some good comics, you know, singing
done
with
some
your
of that.
wife, you know, do a little love shack.
Well, because the boat
definitely.
ride itself is awesome. Like
It's an experience.
and it's an experience, and it's something relaxing and enjoyable about a boat ride in Florida. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just standing
Until you on the boat with that one dude who just lost $500,000 on that one. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm putting it all on blackjack. You know what I'm saying? Like, hold up, man.
the casino boat cruise. There is the element of when
Old
someone.
man sitting on the back, wishing he was dead.
Yeah.
This is the one, Annie.
He's thinking if he's going to walk into the ocean.
when you've lost all your money and then you still have a couple hours left, and then it's
That's
not
why
as-
you guys are bringing
not
the
as
positive
enjoyable.
boat back.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
coming back.
You see some comedy, you do some karaoke, and the reason I asked about the karaoke DJ is I like the karaoke DJ that could sing really well.
I don't like
take
that.
over half the show.
I don't like that.
And then they make it.
I don't like that because it's intimidating
I like
when you
it.
get up there and the first guy and then he puts a reverb on and he's like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, hold, and then
pretty
you're
good.
like, well, hold on, that was actually Vince. That was
Yeah,
beautiful.
because Vince can really sing.
I know he can.
You know.
That's why he can't
My
really be
mama told me I'm
hosting.
somebody. I ain't
Yeah,
feel
he-
I ain't nobody.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
If Vince gets up there hosting karaoke and he blows your doors off, then nobody's going to want to get up
exactly.
Nah, that's a negative, sir. Because see, when I do karaoke, especially for the white people, I do white people songs.
there. Oh, okay.
So I'm going to go up there and I'm going to rock it out. I'm going, some of those that work forces are the same that work forces. Some of those that work forces are the same. Killing in the name of. You ain't going to see me doing like no Luther Vandross
And
out there.
he's black, right? Exactly.
Eyes closed.
He is black, but it's a white person song. I agree with that.
White people are so angry.
They're mad right now.
Yeah, why are we so angry? That's why we look so old. We're angry all the time.
Only white people could scream that song and be angry on a paddle boat.
The anger makes
Right there.
When y'all sing it at karaoke, do y'all sing like the same song over and over?
No, I
it's Baby Got Back.
Really? That's your go-to song?
No, he does Santeria by Sublime.
Do you know the words or do you read the screen?
No, he doesn't know the words. He's been singing it wrong for 30
Yeah, he
years.
has been singing it wrong
I thought
for
it
30
was
years.
slap her dad around. It's not that.
My banana kinda don't want none unless
He
I.
loves
Yeah, with Sir Mix-a-Lot. Yeah. That's more of the comedy of look, and I'm a nerdy white fat dad, and I'm gonna do Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Yeah.
I like big butts too, even though my wife has a frog ass. She got a big upper torso and a frog ass. But I'm singing I like big butts.
I like big butts and I cannot lie.
I'm sorry.
It's
Anyway.
wife be like, you a damn lie.
So how do you guys know Jolly?
Jolly.
Oh, they're all comedians.
I was walking down Paramore one night looking for a lighter. And I looked and saw this dude sleeping underneath the box. He said, "Hey, bro, you look like you could use a drink." Nah, just playing. Jolly, that my dog, bro. Jolly, that my dog.
I sold him something before. I just don't know which stuff it was.
Oh my God, yeah, it was a cab ride. Hey man, can you take me from the Sanford Airport to the MCO Airport?
Look, we know he has a smoking minivan. We took him to Tank America. Let him drive a tank. Remember that?
Yeah.
Billowing smoke.
He pulled up, and I'm like,
We're like,
"You're
are you
gonna
okay?
have to stay here, are you?"
All right, I'm gonna put you on blast right now. I've been waiting for this moment for years. Jolly been like, bro, you need to go, bro, hey, bro, you need to go out there and holler at Tommy Dad. I was like, I think I used to work with Tommy. So at Champs
Yes!
up in Florida Mall.
Really?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, when it was
You
Tommy
worked?
and he was drunk. I don't even know if he
Yeah,
can say them
you can
things.
say that.
you worked
I
at
don't wanna
Champs?
get him yeah, and he had the long,
my
he
God,
had the mullet, and he used to come in. He used to come in.
He had a
He used to
mullet.
come in with the mullet. He was a star, and he would come in. Everybody be like, "Oh my God, it's Drunky!" And I'd be like, "Who's Drunky?" I don't, because I was new to Florida.
That's
You know what
white
I'm saying?
guy
I don't know. He's like,
stuff. It's white
"Drunky." He's like, "Oh yeah, And he would come in so cool. His voice wasn't like it is now. Like, "Oh yeah, I like Big Butts." He's like, "Yeah,
Yeah,
so I'll be
deep
up there
Elvis.
to-
He had a deeper voice
I'll
when he
be
was
up there
younger.
at
It was
the
weird.
Wichita.
Really?
Yeah, now you're a high-pitched, broken
Did
old
you
man.
really work at Champs?
Yeah, and we in the back room. I remember.
Why would he be lying
Oh, did you know about a shoe
I
castle?
bought all the Jordans you stole. I'm just playing, by the way.
Did you know that he-
limitations?
Did you know that
I remember you.
Yes, Jen was our manager. Remember Jen?
Yes.
Jen, who told me not to call Mexicans Mexicans. Yes, I remember her.
You don't remember him? Oh yeah, I laughed at that.
So this man was in the store when you were masturbating in the rap.
It was in the back. It was in the back. He had his own section. He only did
masturbation section.
Them shoes was sticky. Tommy, let me get a size 12.
Yes, hold on.
Who knew that
you
Vince
worked in the
Taylor,
back with me?
Yes,
Great.
I worked in the
Orlando
back.
known comedian Vince
I was-
Taylor worked with the masturbating shoe.
No, I don't know.
No, I'm surprised you don't remember a black face. You don't remember this guy?
Well,
I'm not joking. Okay, hold on. I remember
This guy
working
saw
with
you do it, didn't he? Oh my God! How do you look him in the eyes?
No,
How do you look him in the eyes?
No. I remember when. Okay, this you remember this story. So
Yeah.
I used to listen
Yeah.
to like talk. They were
In the
one
back.
for one in the
on
back.
that little bitty radio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember one day.
Every white guy's got a little bitty radio that he
That's the
listens.
only little bitty thing they. You know what? Let me shut up.
White guys have a little bit of radio they listen to their racist radio on.
Yo, he lied.
Oh my God.
Okay, let's talk about
Every
this.
white guy's got a little racist radio.
Because I remember when I was where they gave me Vince as to help me out in the back room because I was
They
apparently
gave you Vince. They gave him to
Well,
you.
no,
Yeah,
he
you know,
was
this
yours.
was back in the 1800s. You know what I'm saying? You know.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, like, I didn't have any help, and they were like, "Oh,
And I was the help. Just so y'all know.
Vince is going to help you out in the back room." So, all right, and
I hope he took a poop in your pie.
and Vince, you remember me telling you like, don't work too hard.
Yes,
We
yes.
just
I
talked
hate
about
Well, now he
place.
just screams at me, "Get to work!" So what the hell happened?
And I'm
different when you're at to own the place.
I'm gonna tell you
If
something.
I was Mr. Champs, I would think differently. But I was like, screw this company. I hate this corporation. It's all the manager, like no one. We're just let's do as little as possible.
Nah.
So back to
So you taught Vince how to masturbate.
It's
He helped
crazy.
me the first couple times. I
They're
don't
not
know what
getting
happened.
no business right now.
You shocked me too because I remember us working together. How long did we work together?
It wasn't that long because I wasn't there that long, and I remember you was like clearly like it didn't matter what you did. Like you could have shot somebody in the middle of Times Square. It wouldn't occur because like you was like such a star to that staff. Couldn't nobody say nothing about Tommy.
Wait,
about
was Forrest Stump there? Forrest Stump?
that was a different time.
No, because like yo, literally, I remember.
Are you
watching,
serious?
I
You know
watched
what's funny?
Tom-
My recollection of that time was that no one knew who I was, of course, because I didn't, I was nobody. I was an intern at a radio station, and
Oh, they all talked about you behind your back.
Oh, not
really,
behind
that's
his
how
back.
oblivious I am of
bro.
things.
You remember like at school, like when there'd be a fight or like somebody freestyling at lunch, how everybody would crowd around. That was Drunky. When he used to walk into work, everybody would just not just the people that worked
Stop
there.
folding the tall tees.
But Tommy mastered the art of looking busy. Like I remember watching him string up some
He
shoes
does
for
that
3
now.
hours.
He just looks at his phone.
he took 3 hours to string up some shoes. I was like, "Oh, that was the same? Is that the same left Jordan
Now
L1?"
he spends 3 hours staring at our bank account.
But
Now,
I'm proud, bro.
That was me trying my hardest. I tricked everyone. Like, he's
jokes.
doing this on purpose. So, Vince, I remember a specific time where you're listening to a particular morning show
Yes.
on the radio,
Yeah.
and they were doing like tell your best racist joke in the morning.
Yeah,
This is a different time, by the way. You can
What
get
did
away
they
with
say?
it.
Tiny radio.
And then I remember leaning over, just turning off because I was like, I don't want Vince to know I listen to this.
Yeah.
We can't know him so soon. We're just getting to know it. Nah, just kidding.
Let's see what Stevie Demand's doing. He's trying to find 102 jams. That's
crazy. We were
trying to go over to
So Bartell, how's everything going over there? On the,
He'll take anything. LSB Feaster at 88.3.
Bebop, so 94.5. Oh, sorry. But yeah, I will say this
That's
though.
funny,
Even
man.
back then, like Tommy had like this zen, like I could have swore if he wasn't so young, he was at Woodstock. Like he was like one of the coolest dudes. I mean, I couldn't tell it was a mullet till he took his hat off. He really took it. He was the only one. The
when you
only
wore
one.
hats.
The only one that
when
was
you wore
allowed to
hats.
wear a hat, because I was a hat wearer. You know what I'm saying? And they wouldn't let us
He
wear
won't
hats.
wear them anymore.
But, well, hey, he shouldn't. I mean, he's a handsome man.
Yeah,
you know,
he won't
he's
wear
got
the
good
hats
cheekbones.
anymore.
Look at his shoulders.
I
You know,
met
he's got a
you.
nice
I
size
met
butt.
Vince first from Carlos.
Yeah. Oh,
Or
for real? Okay.
Black Bean Carlos. Yeah, years
Yeah,
and years
that's
and
my
years
dog.
ago.
Yeah, we went to
so
school.
probably you would have been around. It was around that time. It was
Yeah.
years and years
Yeah,
ago.
I used to do a lot of work on
Crazy
on
how
real
we're
radio with the different show.
all connected.
But yeah, I definitely was always kind of keep my ear to the ground as for Tommy and how well he's doing. Because despite the fact that we weren't close, I always was like, I remember that dude, bro. He out here killing it. And the
Look
reason
at
why,
you.
Tom, just to kind of just gas you a little bit, is because to go from the stock room to where you at is an accomplishment you should be proud of.
Yeah.
So I'm just happy for you, dog.
Especially
That's
with
all
the
it is.
masturbation problem. Like you had. Did you know he was doing that?
I mean, the shoes were sticky.
No,
You know, them shoes were a little sticky.
come on.
Do you feel bad?
I see Vince again.
Proud of you, boy. Proud of you, boy.
Well, I
See that?
appreciate that.
Vince is very proud of you.
We're a crazy small world, man.
Yeah, it's a small Orlando.
Also, it goes to show you what you remember about certain things, and like the situation you're in is different. Because I would have told you, and I would have bet against the fact that no one cared who I was, and I, or I was nobody. Like
You're Drunky the Bear, dude.
but no,
I ain't gonna lie, I hated you a little bit. There was a small part of me that was like, F this dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
I agree.
He gets to come back here and pick his nose and listen to the radio.
Yeah,
and
guys
they
back
keep
here
calling-
masturbating wearing a hat. And what you're
Were
back
they
there
just letting me do whatever I wanted?
And Vince is folding the tart.
I was so, you know what I'm saying?
I thought that's how companies work.
And, yo, I was there because I was
He got
reprimanded.
special treatment.
You know,
He got special treatment.
Oh,
Back
yeah,
there masturbating, then come out and shake everybody's hand.
Yeah.
I love special treatment.
You'd go back to your castle, you bang one out, then you'd come out and hug everybody.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing?
Yeah, hug everybody. All
How you doing? That's why I don't shake hands.
Then Vince is back there. Vince is busting his ass. You got a Dolphins hat on.
Did I show you about the grate? You can look through. You can climb up on the top, and then there was like a AC grate, but it was false.
Yeah.
Like it was just the.
And so you can spy on everybody.
And then you could look through the slats at the open store.
see who's coming.
All right, now
and you
see,
could just
And
sit.
down
this is
women's
why I
shirts?
hated. This is why I hated Tommy. You know, he's sitting there finding secret pathways to another
He's up there
portal.
looking down women's shirts.
He's climbing through the wall, finding the multiverse, and I'm trying to sell shoes, socks, and shoe cleaners.
He's the Miles Morales pervert.
Yes,
he's
he
up
is.
in the rafters
Hey.
looking at people.
Peter B. Parker.
God, that job sucked.
But look where you at, bro. You know what I'm saying? You needed that. You got to keep that humility. You know what I'm saying? We got to keep that stuff in mind. Like where you come from to where you at is worth noting. That's all I'm saying.
There you go.
Big up, big boy.
Well, dude, thank you so much. Also, great seeing you. I almost think
Halfway
it's a
through
joke.
this interview and had no idea.
Because didn't you say like Vince used to work with you at Champs?
That was somebody else. Somebody else
I
sent
told
us an
Jolly.
email.
I told Jolly, yeah. Oh, dang, somebody
Yeah,
else?
somebody else sent us
Hey,
an
get
email.
about my business.
Yeah.
Get about my business.
I think
Okay,
it was
was it
Jolly.
Jolly
I
telling
think
you?
it might have been Jolly.
But I didn't
All
know.
comes back. It always comes back to Jolly.
Always. Everything comes back.
Everything comes back to David.
I didn't. Well, also I'm horrible with names, so
That is true.
I never remember anybody's name, and then so
If you're
I didn't know
horrible
you
at
were
names,
you were
what
working at back because there were so many people that worked out front.
Yeah, I was
that
out
I
front.
didn't. Oh, you were.
I was both. I was management training. You know what I'm saying? I didn't make it through it, but I was.
Yeah. Hey, This guy was never going to have a shot.
Did you
at it.
ever have to put on someone's? Because that was where I drew the line.
What?
Is that sometimes they
make you put people.
The Al Bundy, where you got to put the shoe on the person.
They'd call me. They call me out.
Old people wanted you to do that, yeah.
Yeah, they call me out to the front every once in a while when it got too busy because they like someone called in sick. Everybody called in sick.
Yeah.
So they're like, Tommy, get out here. You got to work the floor.
I'm drunk in the players. What do you mean?
That's what I said.
Sir, if you're done
I'm wearing my hat.
yeah, you're like, sir, if you're done masturbating, we need some help out on the floor, sir.
I'll never be done.
So I go out there every once in a while. Then
I'll be out in 5.
they'd be like,
I told you I'd never do this again.
They're like, I want this shoe. As I go back there and get the shoe, come out, and then they just put their stinky foot out
they
with
just
the
hold it
sock.
out
But that used to be, that's not their fault. That used to be the way it was done.
It's their
And they're like,
fault.
put your own shoes on.
Yeah, it's their fault.
I used to need
your burnt irons.
I used to need help with my condoms like that, but then,
Sorry, Joe Neal. We're going to walk through memory lane.
that's the
how
call to the
Joe Neal and I
porn thing.
met.
Like, yeah. Come
So-
help him with this in his porn room.
Again, we've got the comedy and karaoke cruise.
Yep.
It's coming up this Saturday.
Yep.
And what time do you you tell everybody get to the boat?
Like 6:30 because we
Okay.
boarding. We're not waiting. 7:30 we hitting the the river.
It's 7:30
You know?
sharp. If you've
Yeah,
never been,
boarding is at 6:30 and they're off at
It's
7:30.
just like a cruise ship. If
Yep.
you're late, you're late. You
That's-
can't be late.
And then you
That's
do
right.
that move where when you sail off, there's always someone running down the dock as everybody's filming them.
Yeah, we see you in July. So
Somebody missed your wedding. His wedding was on a boat.
really,
Was it your boat?
As we were leaving,
was it that Molly boat?
No. This is a nice boat. This is a nice ass boat. It was owned by a Mexican lesbian.
My two favorite categories.
You know, my father-in-law paid for it,
It was
so
fancy
believe me,
town.
I would rather
Wow.
have the
Downtown
money.
Miami.
I'd rather have
Downtown
the money.
Miami. Jay-Z
Hilarious.
came by in a cigarette.
Hey, well, y'all can get discounted tickets at Tom and Dan's website,
Yep.
tomanddan.com, and go there and get your $25 off the Father's Day. It's time for the women to do something nice for the fathers.
Yes.
You know, if this was a Mother's Day cruise, it would have been sold out. As soon as it went out.
Yes.
But the
Fathers
Father's
do
Day
get the shaft.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Mothers don't
And
do
they can't do
Mothers
it without
nothing.
Nothing.
We do
So
everything.
That's why it's time for them to do something.
And we
for
never
us.
do anything bad. Dads are so good.
So do it for your husband,
Correct.
your baby father, the dude that you
Yeah.
rocking with on the side. Just do it for a guy in your life.
Your
come out to the cruise.
son or daughter might have a mentor at the at a camp, and you could buy it for them.
That's right.
Whoa.
Even though they're an alcoholic, it doesn't matter. You
That's
can still
right.
buy it for them.
Use promo code Father's Day and get that discount. Thank you guys for coming
Yeah,
in.
appreciate it.
Man,
And
this has been a blast.
And we
man.
appreciate you guys advertising with us. Hopefully,
Yeah.
we'll do it again.
Oh,
and
sure.
Thank you guys, and good luck
And
with it.
follow me
Yeah.
at the Real Vince Taylor, where you can talk more stories about Drunky and the.
Yeah, get all the secrets.
Drunk in the
from
castle.
Vince.
and comedian Joe Nail on all social media.
There you
See,
go.
Vince. Okay, not to go back to it. What?
Okay,
What
I knew you'd
Oh,
go
you
back
brought
to
him
it.
back in.
Not to go back to me, but let's go back to me.
is the
Right.
What's the reality? We need to talk to a third person to find what's the
What's
reality.
the reality?
No.
What was
That's
the
Vince's
manager? We
reality.
need the
I'll tell
lady.
you
What
my
was the
reality.
manager? The manager lady.
Jen. I'll
Yeah,
tell
yeah,
you
We need
that.
Jen.
Yeah,
Or
Jen.
she made us move her
Yeah.
down to West Palm Beach.
Yeah.
Oh my
And they
God.
gave us- you were there.
I was not.
Oh no!
Did
God.
you know
Ousted
that
by then.
Tom and a buddy of his moved her to West Palm Beach, and he thought he was going to get a,
No, Jen.
No,
Really?
yeah,
like
he
men.
thought he was going to get that, but
We
you know what he
got
got?
in
He
the
got a 6-piece chicken McNugget.
No, they gave a $5 footlong.
Whoa! Not the.
But I know what you thought you were going to do. I know what you thought we were going to get.
Like you have
You
some
thought
of
you were
your
gonna do
employees.
Castleberry Airtight.
We went from Orlando in a moving truck
No.
to West Palm Beach. Loaded. We
Yeah.
loaded her apartment.
And you got-
her apartment.
Her apartment into a truck.
Yeah.
Drove down with another manager. Was it Carlos? The other man. Who was
Yeah.
the Brazilian guy? You remember?
I remember
The
tall, thick.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brazilian
You
glasses
guys
with the
thought
glasses.
you were going to do the airtight.
It was me,
Bro.
him, and another guy.
Yeah.
And then like he was
And
like,
what'd
"Hey,
you get? A veggie delight. You got a veggie delight.
we moved her stuff out of the
busting
moving
your
truck into her apartment in West Palm, and then she paid for a $5 footlong, and that was it.
Oh my!
Serious.
The Brazilian manager gave us I think he gave us $100 a piece out of his own money because he was so embarrassed.
This is from my own money.
that happened. Who thinks like that?
Yeah.
You're just going to have some young kids move your entire
How
apartment
many of y'all was
for
it?
$5. It was me, the manager, and another guy.
Okay,
like
see,
sitting
this
in the
is how I
movie
know.
truck.
This is how I know she wanted Tommy, bro. Like she wanted Tommy. I don't know what was going on. This is a long time ago.
That was my fantasy in the shoe.
Yeah, he was trying to get the discount on them Jordans,
Yeah.
bro. He was trying to go ahead and get them Air Force Ones for $3.
God,
Exactly.
you know what, man?
He's trying to get him two per.
I know what he was doing. Now that
I know what you're doing.
In retrospect, we should have robbed that company.
Yes,
For real.
it's not too late. Hop in the DeLorean.
I never
homeboy.
know if someone's gonna be like rat on me or not, so I don't want to tell them my grand scale. I'm like, hey, we checked in all these boxes. We can leave one, and I'll get a buddy to just come grab it.
Yeah.
And it'll get lost in the inventory.
Right.
And like,
He's
the Air
spiraling out
Force
of
Ones,
control.
we could sell them.
they're huge.
And it
$50
was hot.
You blew
a
it.
pair.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah,
You could have
man.
made hundreds of
You
extra
was thinking
dollars.
with the wrong head, homeboy.
Joe Neal,
Wow.
Vance, thanks for coming.
Man,
on.
thank you guys, man.
I
We
want to talk about
appreciate it.
stealing things once every show. All right, guys, we appreciate it.
Yeah, nah,
Again,
good.
the link's on the front of Tom and Dan.
Yep.
We will be right back.
Thanks, guys.
Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producers here. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
So on Zoom with us right now, he's performing at the Dr. Phillips, December 11th. You can get your tickets now.
Is this a homecoming show? Is this you're coming back to your hometown? Do you claim Orlando as hometown?
Unfortunately, I do. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, I live like 2 blocks away from the Dr. Phillips Center, so I'm just going to walk to my show.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's also how you get stinking rich being a entertaining nurse, too, is you'll walk to your show.
Yeah. On Zoom with us, Nurse Blake. How you doing, man?
I'm good. Thanks, guys. I typically don't like mornings, but for both of you, of course.
We appreciate that. We probably thought you would have done that for Sam, not us, but we appreciate you taking the time to chat with us a little bit about basically what you've created, which is a gigantic nurse business.
Engaged community of followers, and that probably not all of them are nurses, but a lot of them. So let's go back to when you realized that there was something here and that there was a community that you were building, and now that it could be something.
How did your social media persona sort of come about?
Yeah, so I've been a nurse 9 years. I actually went to school at UCF, so the University of Central Florida.
Woo-woo!
Yeah, both of us graduated.
We are both UCF graduates as well.
Go Knights, go Knights.
Yeah.
See, you don't even have to be that smart to get in. Just look at
Absolutely.
Well, I got it in
Get 'em, Blake.
In 2000, it was basically a community college.
Now, Blake's going to know.
When I got accepted to UCF, people were like, "Oh, I'm sorry about that."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, everybody was going to FSU."
Blake's going to know that the degree that I got, I believe some people have whispered it's called the Culpepper because I got an interdisciplinary studies degree, which is, I don't even know what it is.
So fancy, so fancy.
Yeah. I don't even know what it is. So you were you on social media and talking about sort of your journey of nursing school even before you were a nurse?
No, really, it started afterwards. So about 4 years into my nursing career, so it's about 2017, I was like, I had my first panic attack after I left work one day, and it was like awful. I thought I was like gonna die. And I realized it was just a panic attack. And it was really from just the burnout and stress that I was facing working in an ICU. And I'm like, I need like an outlet to like share all these crazy stories. And in May of 2017, I posted my first video, which was like a silly video for like my 300 friends and family. And I guess nothing was going on in the news that day because it just went viral. And that's how viruses spread. They just go viral
exactly.
from
It's
person
perfect.
to person.
Exactly.
And ever since then, I've just kept making content. And I was invited to do Nurse Night at the Red Sox game, at a baseball game, and at Fenway Park. And there were over like 9,000 nurses that came out for Nurse Night that I hosted. It was like the largest event in Fenway Park history. And I said, you know what? Like nurses want to come out. Like maybe I should do like a little inspirational talk. So then I started doing like these small inspirational talks in like 2019. And I started with 5 of them. and now I'm doing like 190-minute comedy shows around the country this fall. So
yeah, I noticed.
It's
like
wild.
It's crazy that on the bio, and this is so impressive that it says internationally touring comedian, nurse. It's like nurse. Yeah. We had to move nurse down. That is so crazy, man. That's awesome. So awesome.
Well, okay, I've got a bunch of questions for you.
Yeah.
The first one is, how did you go about building your stage show or your live show, and what you thought that was even going to be? Because obviously you started off as a nurse, you built the social media following, and then you realize, and we're familiar with this, just because we kind of went kind of backwards, where we started in like mainstream media and then went into podcasting and understood about building communities and influencing people and
how
what that
important
means.
they can be. Sure.
And so, how'd you build the stage show? I'm curious about that.
So I've been invited, like, as Nurse Blake, since I've been doing this for 5 years. I was invited to speak at like all these nursing conferences and nursing schools.
Yeah.
And nursing conferences are typically pretty boring. Like, they're super basic. They're just in these boring conference centers, and they would have me talk for 60 minutes. And I'm like, you know what? I want to create like a better environment. Like, I'm going to put music and audio and throw some jokes in there that I make from my videos. And I realized, like, people want to laugh. Like, no matter what nurse they are, how old they are, they just want to kind of laugh about our profession. So I line up my show in 3 acts, and I've toured with my Call Light tour, my PTO comedy tour, and now my Shock Advice tour. So I've had 3 tours.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you. And I build it into 3 acts. So it's me for 90 minutes. So it's a one-man show in 90 minutes. It's a mix of like stand-up, bits, skits, video. So it's more like, it's not so much a stand-up show.
It's like a one-man
like
show.
Stand-up comedy. It's like a one-man show.
Yeah.
Are there any?
Of course. And then that's the. Well, obviously, Nurse Blake is super intelligent with everything he does. But but of course, like, we talk to stand-ups all the time, and sometimes the old school stand-ups think that if you're on stage and you're bringing an audience, that you have to do stand-up, and they're like, how do you
punchline?
How do you do a 45-minute stand-up routine if you don't have that much? If you don't have 10 years of experience on the road, and you're like, it doesn't matter. You're bringing all your audience that listen to you and follow you, and then just make a show that they want to see. And you don't have to do a 45-minute traditional stand-up.
You don't have to cover every topic.
Just talk to them.
Cover what they want to hear.
Exactly.
Right? Like, they're I'm assuming that a huge chunk of the people you have probably aren't all nurses, but I'd say that a lot of the people you get are probably a lot of first responders too,
or
right?
like-minded.
Or like-minded, exactly. So, like, feed them what they came to see, and you're also at the best venue in our city. So there's no argument. You can't even argue about what he's bringing to the table because he's at our greatest venue. So that's so cool, by the way, dude.
So, okay, speaking of that leads me into my next question, Nurse Blake. And so I'm curious to, all right, I see, because like I said, we've kind of built a business beyond, like, around what you're doing, and you're doing it on a way grander scale than we have. But so because of that, I'm looking at that, you're doing the Dr. Phillips Center, one of the biggest venues in Orlando, as you know. And
we only did an outside show. They wouldn't even let us in.
Oh, no.
We're not that big.
Yeah, we're on the front yard festival.
Dr. Phillips was literally standing there with his arms crossed.
And they put us in cages. We couldn't even talk to each other.
Go to the back. So anyway, and then, your followers are listed, right? Like, that's the cool thing about social media, is like, we see everybody's quote unquote media power, right? It's right there. The numbers underneath. Anyway, with the amount of engagement and everything you have, like, I've done the math, and this is a gigantic business that you've built for yourself. A gigantic media company, a gigantic following that is super lucrative.
Powerful.
So how do you not just do this and not do nursing anymore? Because as we all know, nurses don't get paid as much as they should.
Correct.
So, and I know what this company makes, and I'm just, like I said, I put you in the multi-millions at this point.
Yeah.
And then
also, kudos to you for doing a world tour of basically all the places I would want to visit. I'm like, this guy's a genius.
So
He's a genius.
How do you keep practicing nursing?
No, so that's a good question. So on top of my comedy tour, I also run one of the largest nursing conferences, which is called NurseCon at Sea. So I host a nursing conference on a cruise ship. I have the whole cruise ship, about 4,000 nurses. I have about 90 staff that I manage.
He's our smartest guest.
Dancers, and entertainers, and we do a whole week of just education and sick parties for nurses.
It's just so cool, man.
Well,
it's like
speaking of that, we've done cruises ourselves, and I've done the math on the
Nobody
whole boat.
learned anything.
No one learned anything.
And that is lucrative as well.
Yeah.
So you are doing, like
your
I said, Nurse
parents
Blake.
should be so proud of you. My God, Blake.
I'm seeing the media empire you're building, and it is.
Oh my gosh, you guys! Look what I just came out with. It hits mailboxes next week. My magazine.
Nurse Blake magazine.
What do you not do?
You got
Here's
some
the children's
advertisers
book. Have
in
you
there?
seen the children's book? The children's book is
My
great.
God.
I got a wine, I got a nursing shoe.
Okay, yeah. Like I said, multi-millions. How do you continue to be a nurse?
Honestly, when people say like, "Are you an entrepreneur or business person?" I don't even really consider myself that. I number one consider myself a nurse and entertainer, and as long as nurses will come out and enjoy my stuff, I am more than happy to visit as many cities as possible, host these nursing conferences. And then one day when people say, we don't want to see you anymore, or we don't want the cruise anymore, I'm going to be like, oh, I get to have a break, and I'll take a nice break.
Back to wiping butts.
Well, Nurse Blake.
Back to wiping butts.
Let me just. I'll predict something. You'll won't have to go back to wiping butts because
You'll have a castle somewhere in Europe.
Because it's interesting because and this is real talk. We got into running our own small media company.
Well, because of the independence,
a decade
right?
ago,
and that's
right?
why I love seeing this go so well.
And then we had that thought at the beginning too, like, well, if it all ends, we could all decide. But then as more years go by, you realize, and what I realized, Nurse Blake, is as long as you want to do this, it is never going to end abruptly. You may have a plateau eventually, and then 20 years from now, you'll have less listeners than maybe you did at the beginning. But you could do this for the rest of your life and the rest of your career.
What's the hardest part? Is it finding enough time to do the book, the magazine, the nurse
tour,
con? Like, how do
cruise.
you? I mean, obviously you have an assistant or a partner or somebody that helps you. Like, how do you?
You must have a whole crew.
And
at
you're
this
young.
point.
He's young. He can do this. So, what's the hardest part?
Yeah, so I live off working, so I love working on projects, numerous projects.
Nice.
I have a great team, so I do have a little office north of Orlando in Lake Mary.
Oh, cool.
I have about 9 full-time staff that help me run the NurseCon at Sea conference, because that's a
lot.
huge project on its own. And then I have like a lot of nurses that I contract with to do things like help me write the magazine or help me work on these little projects. So I've been lucky enough to work with nurses in like different capacities from all over that help on my projects. So I think it's all about time management and like finding the right people. But once you do, you could get so much done.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, you're building it right, and it's super impressive what you've done and what you're doing. And like I said, I see people building their business, their small, I call it like a mom and pop media company, because like you see these clusters of all these popping up everywhere, and people making money for themselves and not having to answer to anybody and not have to working with a giant corporation, and you could do what you want to do, and that's the best, right? It's like you don't have to work for some other media company that's putting you on the road making 80% of what you know what I'm saying, like that kind of thing. It's like you're doing whatever you want to do.
And you weren't famous, but now you are. Has this afforded you the ability to meet someone famous that you've wanted to meet?
Y'all, I have not met anyone famous.
Really?
What?
I haven't no one famous on my phone. No. Like,
because
honestly,
I saw you
like,
naturally, like I saw you would come up in my algorithm and I'd say, oh, that's cool. And then it would keep going. And then you'd get a little bigger and I'd see more videos. And then I started seeing everything. And then I'm like, oh my God, this guy's like super successful. So I'm like, of course you know some people.
Well, what's fame? Nurse Blake is famous.
Yeah,
you're
right.
You're
people want to meet him. You're right.
Well, you're talking about traditional like actor, and they're
right. I'm thinking as an old man.
They're in a different machine. seen too. It's like all these influencers that are, if you like, Nurse Blake has more followers than a lot of actors.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, that would be considered like, oh, this person's been in a Marvel movie. He's famous. Like Nurse Blake has more influence than
nobody knows who those people are, but they know. Who
you guys are like, I love this. Like, this is like great. Like this whole hype up. You guys are like,
look, we are obsessed with small businesses, and you are effectively a one-man or 9-person small business, and you're also an Orlando guy, and we're Orlando guys. So when, like this morning, when I knew you were coming on, I started geeking out a little bit because, like, you're a success story, right? Like, regardless of, like, I'm not into nursing stuff, but I'm into success stories. So when I see you, I'm like, it's so cool that you've created something that's just weird. It's a weird job, man.
So it's weird, in a good way.
Yeah,
in a good way.
Exactly.
And let me tell you, my audience is unlike anything else, because when you come to my comedy shows, like, when I play a video for the first time, they're like, oh, this is going to be like a TED Talk, you know? And then they hear my audience, and they are so loud and ready for the best night. They come, like, regular, like, comedy shows, you'll have, like, groups of, like, 2, like, a lot of couples, or, like, 3. My, like people come in groups of 20. They take party buses, like, they pregame at dinners. People take off work. Like, it's a huge event for them to get together with their coworkers. You got moms taking their nursing student sons to my show, so it's all different ages, and it is just a freaking party. So if it wasn't for my audience being like so cool, I wouldn't be able to do what I do. And with Nurse Con at Sea, like, it's like people have come on all 4 of my cruises now. Like, it's just so crazy and so cool, the community that's been able to build even just around me. Like, people that come on Nurse Con at Sea, they have their own, like, inside jokes, and they hide ducks. Like, I'm like, what even is that? Right. You know, even though I created it, they have these own little communities surrounding, you know, other projects that I do, or events that I put on for them. So it's so cool to see that own community grow, even really outside of me in a way.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you mentioned inside jokes, and you realize, like, you're talking to your own audience. They're gonna like all the jokes that you've made throughout the years, and they're gonna find it more funny
than anyone.
Even if, like, a person listened for the first time, they're like, "What? I don't even understand what's happening." But your audience is laughing their ass off. They love the inside stuff. So let's speak about that.
Also, safest cruise to ever be on is Nurse Con at Sea. Right?
100%. I'll say, like, if you have an emergency on December 11th in Orlando, you ain't going to want to go to the hospital. Just have the ambulance take you to the Dr. Phillips Center. All the nurses will be there. And I'm like, if y'all are here, who's at the hospital?
It's true, too, because, like, I'm a hypochondriac. And as a hypochondriac, I love my nurses. Nurses are my guys. Those are my guys. So, the doctors, not so much. But the nurses, they put me at ease.
We got you. We got you, Dan.
I love my nurses.
So, Blake, I'm curious because your audience consists of a lot of nurses. Do you have to watch yourself that the information you're talking about or whatever that is a good question. is technically correct? Because
there is an element of everything you do is dead serious because you're a nurse.
Right.
And then so I bet they call you out on a lot of, like, you say something wrong. It's funny too because
I never thought about that. Yeah.
Like you're just a lot of times you're openly talking. You're like and so you misspeak. Everybody does it, but now everybody's hanging on every word and you're like, oh, that's not right. You got the milliliters wrong.
Oh, they will call me out if I, like, especially because I'm from, like, the Florida public school system. Like, I don't always get my words right or my math. Right. So whenever I'm doing a show or something and I say something wrong, it's just like they just all come at me. But it's the funniest thing ever. Like, I don't mind if it happens because I just kind of live for it. But yeah, I mean, everything I do is for entertainment purposes only, even though I'm a licensed registered nurse.
Right.
It is a comedy show. All my stories are true.
Got to give the disclaimer.
Even if you're not in healthcare, I am going to break down everything for you during my show. Like, for example, this.
Wait, what? I know what that is.
So what?
Is that a water bottle for a hamster?
This is a Pure Wick. And I am going to talk about this in my new show. And if you don't know about it, Don't worry, because I will explain everything this little thing does during my comedy.
There you go. I think I've seen one of those very intimately.
Nurse Blake, so I've got...
Not intimately.
Okay. Maybe I haven't. Well, it looks like something I've seen intimately.
Oh.
I've got a really good friend that's a nurse, and I constantly interview her about
You won't
being
leave
a
her
nurse.
alone.
Because I'm fascinated with people's jobs and like the day-to-day of what they deal with.
It's one of the most intimate jobs.
And you get desensitized to it. And she'll tell me, she's like, I'm desensitized to the most disgusting things you could possibly imagine.
It's like a dental hygienist. They've seen it all in there.
And
Seen it all.
and the worst possible things that like someone, you're caring for someone and
You're
like
seeing them
cleaning
also at their lowest point.
and also, no one ever talks about this, but a lot of people that go to the hospital are severely mentally ill. And it's just a fact.
Get a lot, yes.
Yeah, a lot of confused, unfortunate.
And then homeless, and then they're in and out. It's a revolving door. The cops don't have anywhere to take them, so they drop them off
And
at
then
the
you have
hospital.
to sprinkle on the obvious. The obvious is doo-doo and pee-pee.
Yeah.
You sprinkle on the obvious.
and then it's sad having to deal with it because they're just going to be back again, and then you're just and it's a lot of it is social work that does it. And talk about
that's
that.
why bedside manner is important, right?
So it's not just treating someone. It's like trying to possibly give them the tools to help themselves so they don't end up back. It's better for yourself actually because you're.
Tom, you're so smart, Tom. I love that you're like a social worker.
No, I knew.
They call him that. They call him the Castleberry social worker.
All this buttering up, Nurse Blake, was just for you to call me smart one time.
I love it. You're smart.
All calculated.
Yes.
He's also talking to you like you're a child. So
That's fine.
Good job, Tom. You're so smart. You'll take it.
I'll take whatever I get. Well, pat me on my head. You're like, you did
that's my
it.
bedside manner.
Good boy.
That's my bedside manner to you, Tom.
December 11th at the
Yes.
Dr. Phillips Center. Get your tickets. Go in a big group. Get a party bus. Do the big pre-party out there. Do you wear scrubs when you go?
No, we do not want to be in those anymore.
Gotcha.
Okay, so you
our scrubs.
you dress to the 10,000s or something.
We're gonna look hot. Hot nurses.
Yeah,
I was looking at your website at your merch, and I'm surprised you don't have custom scrubs.
You know what? That is a 5-year goal. That's another project.
There you go.
So
It's coming.
I got you, Sam. If you know
All
what
right.
you want,
All right.
next. Launch some scrubs.
Custom scrubs. One more question.
I got another question. Do you stay away from polarizing things? Like we've done that throughout our careers. Like it seems better for us to stay away from polarizing topics.
We
because
did the one.
Everybody gets mad one way or the other.
Mayonnaise and Miracle Whip. Mayonnaise and Miracle Whip. That's the only one we'll do.
It's funny because old school media used to love polarizing topics because it get people to listen and that would get them angry or happy, and now it's like, I don't know, there's too much stuff out there, and there's probably other nurses starting their own podcasts and own other social media that are probably
aggressively conservative nurses.
Of course. No, they're copying what, and then you all of a sudden you get the extreme right-wing nurse and the left-wing nurse and the anti-vax nurse and then there's micro.
I did look this morning, and there are some copycats out there. You're aware of that, right?
Yeah,
it's okay.
Yeah,
everybody's doing it.
We don't give any breath to negativity or copycats. I typically stay away from anything negative. If there is anything polarizing, I think a lot of the polarizing jokes are super easy jokes that can make anyone laugh. So I try to be a little more smart and creative with my content. Yeah. But I am pushing the bounds a little bit. My new tour is called Shock Advised, so I'm going to be roast a lot of people and a lot of things. So it's funny to see how my comedy's kind of flowed throughout the years.
Sure.
And it is whatever I'm feeling, whatever I'm feeling in the moment or in the time. So, but most of the time, probably just like you guys, I like to stay away from polarizing topics.
Yeah. I mean, because we have nurses.
It doesn't seem to do you any good.
No.
Like the people
it's like,
You're not going to change their mind at the comedy show.
And people don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
I think people are tired of the fighting. They're tired and they want an escape. They want a fun Nurse Blake show that everybody's positive, everybody's having a good time.
Everyone I know, you and Sam and Nurse Blake included, everyone I know disagrees with me on almost everything. It's fine. I don't care. It's fine. I disagree with everybody.
Enjoy your life.
But hey, thank you for the time. And if you're ever, since you are in Orlando, we'd love to have you in, one day. It'd be really cool to chat with you.
Our studio's in Baldwin Park, so it's right up the road from you.
I can I'll come and visit next time.
Yeah, get on a Lime scooter.
It's
and hop
clean.
over.
It's clean too. We have a nice bathroom. We have a cleaning lady.
Perfect. I love it. And if you guys are available and want to come to my show, I will let you inside the Dr. Phillips.
All right.
Finally.
Now, Dr. Phillips will be standing there with some crow. He's like, not you guys again. Get to the back. All right, man. Take it easy, dude.
Yeah, we'll see you
Have
soon.
a great day.
You too.
Bye.
Take care. That is Nurse Blake live from his compound in Lake Mary. My God. That dude's doing it right.
Yeah. It's if you find a super engaged demographic of that many people, I mean, when I'm this guy,
I'm going to do a stand-up show about podcasters.
It would work if you could find enough.
Yeah, but they'd all try and take over the show. You know these.
You know
guys.
who's doing a variation of this, but it's just it kind of reminds me of Dylan Siebold. Doing his teacher-specific comedy. Yeah. I like that. I mean, and it's cool if you can find something that hits, and this guy, who would have known that he could, effectively weaponize all the nurses, right? Because you forget about them. And they have a tough-ass job.
Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producer, is here. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
As probably our listeners know, I'm obsessed with
pretty ladies.
Why would you do that to me? I was going to say Instagram influencers.
No, Sam was absolutely correct, and she did you a service because she even I think she even put sprinkled a little bit of love on that to make it pretty lady. I was going to say you are a pervert.
No, I was just saying I like influencers.
And you cannot lie. He's been singing that all around the office. No, you do. No, in all seriousness, you are obsessed with influencers, influencer culture, how they make their money, how they make a job out of basically
misconceptions about them.
Correct. Yeah. And we're very, very lucky through our buddy Bill to get a chance to talk to our next guest.
Yeah, influencer Azura Grace is on the line. How you doing, Azura?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
So, Azura, now, I feel like there's a misconception because, I follow some Instagram
pretty ladies,
models.
Like Sam said. Yeah, they're pretty ladies. Yes.
Sam
said that already.
And I feel like the misconception is that somehow, and this is weird because it doesn't make any sense if you think about it, but somehow, Instagram models are lazy or not really doing a job.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Hardest workers I know.
No, I know. Because
Thank you.
They work their asses off.
Because I think people just see, they're like, there's a pretty girl in a bikini and she's showing pictures on Instagram and not thinking about the tremendous amount of work. And then if you look underneath the bio, all the different things you're in, and we'll talk about the magazine in a second, but all the photo shoots and the wardrobe changes and the location you have to go to, and the social media marketing you have to do.
Makeup.
The hair and makeup.
And also keeping yourself, because obviously everybody...
in shape.
Yeah, in shape. Well, yeah. I mean, you're portraying a certain look that you like, so you have to try and maintain that.
Yeah.
That's true, yeah.
So,
yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. I mean, I spend, more than a full-time job's worth of time just curating photos that I've already been to shoots to shoot. So that's 40 hours of curating in addition to shoot time, travel time, all of that. Plus, I take a lot of my own photos. I run 4 different sites that people can go on and see everything. So it's a lot.
Yeah, and I think people don't...
She's also smart enough to have multiple different sites. You don't want to just link it to one. Diversify that income.
They don't see all that work behind the scenes. And this happens to us every once in a while where they just hear us talking S on the show and having a fun time and making jokes, and then no one sees like the behind the scenes hustle that it takes to run your own business.
What is the most difficult part for you, running the 4 sites, maintaining the schedule? What do you find is the thing that grinds you down the most?
Communicating actually with photographers is really the biggest thing for me.
Yeah.
I love my job, but sometimes, artists aren't known for the best communication, and I also don't have the best communication.
Okay.
So that can definitely be a hindrance sometimes. You kind of have to discover together what the concept is.
Sure. And I'm sure that because you do some spicy photos, I'll say, right? Like you do some nude photos like that. When you are doing that, I'm sure, is it difficult to try and vet who is a legitimate photographer and who is just trying to see you naked? Is that a thing?
Yes and no. I mean, because both are true at the same time. You know what I mean? I don't really begrudge somebody for enjoying what they get to see when they pay for modeling services. Just because it's I provide that service. They want to support me in that. So why should I judge them for that? You know what I mean? It's just being smart and taking safety precautions.
Sure.
That's really important. And talking to other models to find out who's cool and who's not.
Right. Yes. Word travels quickly, I'm sure.
Well, speaking about taking safety precautions, I read that you once hitchhiked from Arizona to New Orleans.
As an 18-year-old girl.
Yes, I did when I was stupid and 18. And I went with a friend. And we just didn't have anything else going on at the time. So we kind of were like, well, we've always wanted to go to New Orleans. And so we just did.
Now, on the list of dangerous things to do, and
that's top of my list.
Because
and New Orleans, you could have. I would have. Show me Chicago was your number one answer, but we'll go with New Orleans as well.
Because there is a difference in who stops to pick you up if you look like Azura or you look like EJ.
EJ is a list of ours that looks very unfortunate.
He can only get in certain vehicles.
He's very large, disabled man.
And I can imagine that. I mean, did you have an escape plan in case someone picked you up that was a serial killer?
At least
was there a little sign that you gave your friend, tug on your ear, we got to get the hell out of here?
Jump out the moving car.
My friend was more nervous than me. She was very I don't know what's going on, and so I kind of just took on the big sister role and. Let's just say I had my little switchblade under my leg.
There you go. Right. I was going to ask if you had a knife.
Through Texas.
Yeah, there you go.
But everything was fine. Everybody was appropriate.
Fine. Nothing bad happened to us. I mean, we had some pretty there was a weird moment where one of the truck drivers was kind of being oh, she reminds me of my daughter so much, but then in a really strange way where he was let's just go home to your mother, and she's I don't know who you are.
Go home to mother.
I know what that means. I know what that means. That man was going to bring you home and mummify you. Because that's what you remind me of my daughter, and then he brings you home, and then you open up the door to the bedroom of the dead child that hasn't been touched for 12 years, and he ties you to the bed.
Or he just
mummifies you.
A socially awkward trucker that can't talk to pretty girls.
Yeah, that's true. A trucker with IBS can't talk to girls.
Yeah. So I'm curious about all the different revenue streams an Instagram influencer can make, because I like I said,
what's your biggest presence? TikTok, Instagram? Where would you say you have your biggest?
Instagram.
Following?
Yeah, Instagram. But I also increasingly have less and less reach, because they really don't like anything that's too suggestive.
Let's talk about that a little bit. Do they shadow ban or throttle your account in some way to kind of persuade you from doing spicy stuff?
They do, and it's kind of unfortunate because they'll actually, just up until recently, there was a little section that creators could go to that told them whether or not they were being shadow banned. And it would tell you, hey, this doesn't violate any of our guidelines, but it could be perceived as violating our guidelines by some people, and therefore we can't show your page to anyone who isn't following you already.
Huh. And
That's crazy.
Is the business model basically like you try to get as much exposure as possible, and then you try to take the your full audience and then kind of funnel them down through different revenue streams like an OnlyFans or like other content, the magazine you're currently on.
MSA magazine.
Yeah. So basically, I started my social media account as a Twitch streamer.
Oh, nice. We're on Twitch right now.
And so when I transitioned in from Twitch streaming to modeling, I kind of had a little bit of a built-in fan base, so that helped me a lot. And I would say that, like, for people who were just starting out, if you didn't already have that, it would be a lot more difficult to, like, actually make a long-term revenue from it. But yeah, the basic idea is just to kind of build a community with people, other models, photographers, and potential fans, and be friendly, and people want to support you. And so they ask, where can they support your content? And for me, that's OnlyFans and Playboy Centerfold, and right now, Macy Magazine. So
yeah, well, those are I would say those, I mean, of course, everyone knows Playboy, and then, Miss A, everybody knows David because of working with Playboy, and OnlyFans is the big... when I see the other ones, because I know there's like, what is it, like Friendsly, or there's a bunch of other ones that are like OnlyFans now.
Yeah. But on Honey Drip,
Yeah, like there are other ones, Honey Drip. I don't know.
Much like OnlyFans.
Okay.
I have a Honey Drip also, but I don't have to run that one, so it's like...
Okay, well, hold on. I don't know anything about Honey Drip. What is that one?
Can you please tell Grandpa about
Explain to this old man
Is
what
that
Honey
better
Drip
than
is.
OnlyFans?
No, it's basically just OnlyFans, but I don't think many of the creators run their own account. So if something that you liked was to like talk one-on-one with creators, you probably wouldn't really be doing that on Honey Drip.
Gotcha. Okay. You'd be talking to Jerry.
Azura,
behind the scenes.
I also saw, and I was just doing business research because, like I said, I'm fascinated.
You just typed her name in and typed in nude.
No. I would just say that.
I don't know. I know most people do that.
I on other Instagram influencer model accounts, I've seen that they've had they have an OnlyFans, but they also have another service where you could purchase like groupings of photos, like themed photos or whatever, and then like you purchase them in a bundle, right? And I thought that was interesting because then they had all different types of like, here's like I have a Star Wars like nude photo shoot that like this, or like in this theme and beach theme, and and then it was a one-off pay per group of photos, and I thought that was interesting. Instead of like a monthly subscription type of deal.
Yeah. And it's like buying a single on iTunes or something,
So do you do any of that? And is that like popular in the influencer world?
Yeah, I have definitely done that before. I definitely offered that for like a couple years, and people did show some interest in it. But overall, like, for me, I put 4 posts a day up on OnlyFans. I send things to people in their messages. There's so much content that it's just kind of a way better deal.
Right.
Azura, do you feel like you're always working? Like, how have you managed that work-life balance? Because I feel like you're not going into, or maybe you are. You go into a particular workspace and then you do your work, and then when you leave that workspace, you're kind of off. Because I feel like mentally, everybody needs that disconnect. Sure. So you're not just constantly working from when you wake up till you go to sleep.
And you are also the brand. You're the kind of ends and begins with you. So, how do you balance it out?
I don't.
Right.
I wake up in the morning and I check things, and then I, go throughout my day consistently checking messages and editing photos and doing all the things necessary. But I also have help. I hire an assistant that helps me with advertising. And I also have help from my husband too. So.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. That
and that's probably a thing. I mean, since we are doing a legitimate interview, that's probably something that you have to balance too. Because I would imagine the more you talk about the husband, you could be killing your bottom line a little bit, right? I mean, like.
Well, you know what? I'm just not. I'm not good at pretending to be somebody that I'm not, and so that's just kind of part of the package. You know what I mean? Like, I am an open book, and I love sharing with people. And, whether or not I'm married or not, it's kind of neither here nor
A lot of
there,
people don't care. So they'll pay for it anyway.
Exactly. Exactly. But I know there are some
and I
people.
talk to people, and I like to hang out with them and have conversations and form long-term relationships with a lot of fans. So
that's really, really cool. How long would you say collectively you've been doing this?
If I count it from starting with Twitch, if you mean influencing, about 6 years.
Wow,
6 or 7
well done.
years.
And I'm curious, with Twitch, you were doing gaming on Twitch. How fast were you able to build that audience? And when, at what point did you realize it was a large audience? Because I feel like huge numbers get thrown out all the time where, some people are disappointed that they don't have millions of followers. And they're like, I only have 50,000 followers. That's not, and I'm like, 50,000? That's
a lot.
You understand? 50,000 people? That's more than local radio stations have. The whole damn station or whatever. It's that's a huge audience. So, what number did you get to where you thought I have something here?
Well, at the time, it was all about Instagram swipe up.
Oh, right.
Right.
So, and all about getting that link so that you could send people directly somewhere, and that was at 10K. So my goal at the time was to transition my Twitch audience into my Instagram audience and get to 10K, which happened a lot faster than I thought it would, because I was studying influencers and trying to implement things that they did. And a lot of them post up free tutorials and things like that. So I just kind of took the free classes and learned, and it worked.
Look at that.
It's a world that we
talk about this all the time.
I'm not sure if you realize, but we're old men now, and then we started an old radio. I don't know, it's a tower that beams out some sort of signal.
It's all tangible.
And there's two types. There's an FM and AM for whatever reason, and they're different.
But AM is really old. That's where the real coffins.
It's like World War II. Is that's where we started. So all this new influencer way of making money and the right way to do it and the Mr. Beast model and stuff
it's fascinating.
We talk about it like old men to try to figure it out, but we come from a different world. But so there is tried and true ways to build accounts that people will teach you, right?
The thing is that it's changing all the time. So by the time that I had mastered everything that was available online, at the time that I was first researching it, everything had changed. And so people coming to me asking me hey, what do I do? I would try to implement or help them implement some of those things, and it wasn't as successful. So I do think that it changes pretty consistently, and you have to be on the ball as far as research goes. It never really ends.
Yeah, we do that all the time. By the time I implement something here with one of our accounts, I'll look and somebody will say, you're still doing that hashtag? You're not supposed to do that. And I'm like, oh my God, I screwed it all up. So at some point, I just gave up. And I'm like, I'm just going to stick with the standard hashtags, and I've given up.
How are they going to teach students in universities or whatever, any sort of social media marketing? By the time some sort of some professor is teaching how it has changed. It's even doing now.
We'll have a chip implanted.
It changes every 6 months, I feel, or 3 months, or really so. You have to literally be doing it.
Yeah,
you couldn't teach someone.
It's on the job training. She's learning as she's doing it. How often do you have to sit down with your team and kind of strategize about do you try to budget out the year or plan out the year of what you want to do?
I budgeted out probably in a 3 month, in little 3 month groupings.
Gotcha.
And I do it pretty much just by myself. And it's just because I'm it's always up and down. You can't really guess what kind of income you're going to make online.
Gotcha.
And so you have to be prepared for that,
Yeah, you have to be smart. See, you're also one influencer we've talked to that even mentions that you are being conservative. I mean, that's how we run our business, right? We don't really take a lot of risks here because we understand that could be real bad.
Right.
When you're doing OnlyFans photos, do you have? Is it daily you come up with something new, or do you have them planned out in
Naughty
some sort
witch.
of spreadsheet, or like, is it how you're feeling that day? Like, how do you decide what content you're going to put out?
I am absolutely crazy about planning my content ahead of time. So I have everything scheduled out like 4 months in advance.
Nice.
Wow.
And I have 4 photos a day per day for up to 4 months, plus videos and all that other stuff. So
She planned out this interview.
Yeah.
do photo shoots. I do like several photo shoots at a time. I come up with concepts, plus the ones that I get back from people who've hired me. And then I kind of just spread those out over that period of time. So there's variety.
You couldn't do this. You'd be like, I got to shoot in like 5 minutes. I got to find something to wear.
We don't even know what we're going to talk about right when we start. we're like, start now, and then we just go.
Like, what are we going to do? We're like, we'll figure it out.
So Sam just mentioned something interesting that we saw you post.
This is really cool.
On your Instagram.
No, it was your TikTok.
Or TikTok. It's all the real.
No, it's not.
Anyway, so that you were talking about doing this interview, and you actually prepared. You like
That was cool.
A flow chart, yeah.
you
Look at that.
Look at her.
That
That is so cool.
So
that is really smart.
But that's why she succeeds, right?
Yeah.
It's never a surprise when you see a person, you're like, oh, why are you successful? And then she holds up the flow chart and you're like, all right, I get it. You're smart.
Well, I can't prepare for everything, but I can try.
Right.
What a great attitude.
Well, that's the grind.
Yeah,
like
that is the grind.
That's what everybody who's successful that I've ever talked to has.
This is what EJ doesn't do.
yeah. No, seriously, if you that's Azura's mind works like that. She's prepared for everything. She grinds it out. She prepared a flow chart for this interview, which she had never heard of it. Like,
so cool.
this is how lazy I am. Like, people asked to interview me and Daniel, and we're like, I don't know what this is. And then we'll do the interview, and it could be bigger show than us, and we have no idea because we never even looked.
And I'll get done with it, and I'll be like, God, waste of my time. I'm like, why
Well, I did some research. I went online because I was like, well, what kind of show is it? Like, I at least have to know that. Are they going to be funny? Like,
Are we funny? Tell us we're funny.
Bits and pieces of your episode about like the midnight release thing.
Oh, don't listen to that.
Don't listen to that. That's our worst stuff. That's our worst
And
stuff.
about Luca. I'm sorry about Luca.
Yeah. Well, I got an angry email from some dads that don't understand why we even cared about Luca. Some guys are mad. They're like, I don't get it. Just make a joke, Daniel, you idiot.
Who gets mad? Like, I'm mad that you care about something.
They are our listeners. Well, hey, let's plug. Are you in the latest
June edition?
In the June edition,
Mise magazine
of the Mise magazine.
Yeah.
David Mise's magazine, and like, where can people? I forget the URL. Where can people get that?
It is just mesemagazine.com, and it's available as a subscription there. You can also find the link in my Instagram bio or on Mese Magazine's Instagram bio.
Awesome.
And you can find all of her links at modelazuragrace.com.
There you go.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Now, is it honeydrip.org?
Not an org. It's not an org.
Okay, I don't know.
It's not an org, but that would be cool.
It would be educational.
Honeydrip.com, OnlyFans, Playboy Centerfolds.
Yeah.
All the
right.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll
You know where you're going now, Grandpa?
Azura, thanks so much for taking the time to talk to us, and good luck with everything, and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I will check out the Honey Drip
and
the OnlyFans.
We'll talk to you soon, okay?
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, take care. See ya. That was, why'd you freak out at the end?
Okay, I'll tell you why.
Thank you. You have boobs.
Come on. Is it creepy when I say I'll check out our Honey Drip?
Yeah, you didn't have to say that.
You didn't need to say that.
But
I'll follow you on social media.
Yeah,
I'll give you a follow.
But I'm supporting what she's selling, right? It's like
Now, why'd you only say those two? Because she has other things too.
Well, the Instagram is free.
I mean, Sam did it right where she just goes to go to model Azura Grace.
She has a free OnlyFans too. She has a free one and a paid one.
Free!
Thank you. Hold on.
If it's free,
She's got a free OnlyFans. Thank you. That's you.
How is it free? How do you make money?
You go to
It's
it
like a preview
and it's
kind of
just
thing.
spicy.
Yeah.
It's like bikini pics.
Oh,
and then if you want the goods, you want the guts, you gotta pay.
I've seen that. Yeah. But then when you go to pay, they make you put in your
and
email.
I don't like a paper trail. I don't like a paper trail. That's why I'm getting a credit card today for an alias. A fake
Can
name.
you do that?
You should. Is there a company that will allow me to get a credit card in a different name?
No, the problem is you have to put in your email.
Can I put OnlyFans?
Well, you can make a separate email. That's easy.
I have a bunch of fake emails.
I tried that, Sam.
No, you can't make fake emails anymore.
Yeah.
That was an early. You had to make that in the early 2000s.
I went to AOL.
Yeah, I know you did.
And then everything I put in, it went back to my goddamn Google.
Yeah, you can't.
And then
You're
I was
linked.
like,
You're linked for good.
Yeah, they're like, oh, they know.
Yeah, you
and
need
then I'm like, I can't see it.
I have one fake email address that I made in
And
like
then I can't use my own credit card because, Crystal looks at that.
Can I use the company, the Tom and Dan Company credit card to purchase all of the OnlyFans I would like?
Well, I got to look at them too.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Then you can.
But you don't like the stuff I like. I know what you like. You like some pretty severe.
No. It's
this
the same
guy,
stuff.
he likes.
I'm curious to see, and I want to support.
You push it to the limit.
I want to support a small business.
Yeah,
that's what I'm doing.
It's an independent contractor. That's a direct to consumer.
You don't even support my Patreon.
How dare you? Well, if you put some of the photos on there.
Oh my God.
I'm joking. I should have said that.
You could have said that you use the company. You could have said
I thought
that
we
you
were
use my login.
No, we have a
we're
Sam's
subscribed.
page. Yeah. So I do.
Dan
I did.
Well, the company's money.
No,
That's half me.
No.
Oh,
That's
just
under
you.
my account.
Oh, use the company so I get 50% credit. Then
$5.50 a piece.
No, not doing it. I know how you work.
Well, yeah. Well, how do I subscribe to that, Sam?
To Honey Drip?
Patreon.com/semantics.
Do you have a Honey Drip?
Oh
my God.
That was disgusting.
That was disgusting. All right, let's take a break, and you can go
Stupid
blow.
honey
Grandpa has to go blow his nose.